Prologue. Naruto, why? He asked on the floor, staring up, but he only snorted and opened his eyes. They weren't the usual sky blue orbs. They were red crimson eyes. Why, you ask? He snorted again. Revenge. And with that they disappeared. The raven fell to his knees and started to hit the ground with my fists and screamed. I heard footsteps, but I didn't stop. Sasuke, what happened? Where is Naruto? Jiraiya asked, crouching down beside him. Itachi, he was here. And Naruto. He convinced him. Damn it. Let's go. Jiraiya said, grabbing Sasuke, and headed back to the village. Chapter 1. Before I left. Tsunade. Itachi got Naruto. Jiraiya yelled, entering the Hokage's room, still carrying the younger Uchiha. What? She asked, slamming her fist on the table. Yes, Sasuke here was there when that happened, he said, letting him go. Tsunade got up and walked in front of him. Sasuke, tell me what happened, Tsunade said calmly. I shook a bit. Taking a deep breath, I started to explain. I heard that Itachi was in the village and was after Naruto. I didn't want him to kill Naruto, so I ran after them. When I finally found Itachi, he had already found Naruto and they were in deep conversation. I told Naruto to get away and let me fight my brother, but then knowing him, he protested and said that I wasn't strong enough to beat him. I got angry when he told me that and yelled at him to leave, but he didn't. I just activated my Chidori and ran to Itachi, but then he hit me, then kicked me. He reappeared right next to me and slammed me to the wall, but then Naruto appeared next to us and told Itachi to leave me be, that he should not waste his time on me. So Itachi let me go. He turned around and was about to leave with Naruto. They were at the stairs when I got up and started to run, yelling at Naruto, asking why was he leaving with Itachi. I activated my Chidori once more and aimed it at Naruto, but he dodged it and kneed me in my stomach, then hit me with his elbow on my back. I fell on the floor. I tried to get up, but then the next thing I knew, I was sent down the stairs, my stomach burning. I looked at them from the bottom on the stairs and asked Itachi how he found Naruto. But then Naruto answered, easy. I told him where I was. Then I asked why, and Naruto opened his eyes. They weren't his normal blue eyes, they were bloody red just like the Sharingan, but had cat-like pupils. His whiskered scars darkened and were thicker. He took off his forehead protector and his jacket and threw them to me. Sasuke looked at the clothing and the object, shaking my head. Then he said revenge, and with that I saw black. A few hours later, Sasuke woke up in the hospital. Normal for someone with a broken rib. He got out of the bed and looked at the clock on the wall.
2 Uhr AM.
The young boy walked out of the hospital. He walked and walked until he found myself in front of a familiar apartment. Someone who said that they will never betray his village but did it anyways, Naruto. By just looking at his door made the younger Uchiha angry, making him remember that he went with Itachi somewhere out there. Itachi, his own brother that killed his own clan but his little brother because he was worth nothing. Walking into his apartment, not surprised that it was unlocked. Sasuke looked around the small apartment and saw stuff thrown all around the place. Clothes, scrolls, food, mostly ramen, etc. He walked in farther into the apartment and saw something burnt in the sink. It was their team photo. How he recognized it, he had no clue. Maybe because of the small part that was left of Kakashi's hair, or maybe just a part of his hair. Looking for the frame, he saw it laying on the bed with a picture in it. He picked it up, soon dropped it again. Sasuke's feelings were in between anger and sadness. At the place of their team was Itachi and Naruto. Itachi was laughing and Naruto was pouting in the same time, smiling. Tears started falling. Sasuke could feel his anger growing. But then that stupid curse mark started to burn. His hatred for Itachi just grew. Running out of the apartment, Sasuke went back to the Uchiha residence. Uchiha Sasuke. A voice came from his brother's room. He turned around and saw a small girl holding a small messenger bag. State your name and your business in my house, Sasuke said, taking a kunai out. Oh, no need to do that, Uchiha Sasuke. I'm only following Uzumaki-sama's orders, she said, disappearing then reappearing at the bottom of the stairs. Naruto, what are his orders? He asked, tears stinging my eyes. I'm not allowed to tell, but by the look on your face I am willing to tell you. My orders from Uzumaki-sama is to destroy everything in his apartment except the picture of him and Itachi Uchiha-sama. Then her someone his and Itachi-sama's important scrolls, she said, disappearing. Sasuke fell on the floor, crying, hitting it once more. He felt like knew what to do next. Orochimaru. Going his room, he packed everything he needed. When he turned around and saw the small picture on his night table, he took a final glance at the picture and placed it face down. Stepping outside without taking a final look at this empty house, he headed to the gates. Just as he was about to arrive at the gates of Konoha, an annoying voice called out to me.
Sasuke-kun. Sasuke-kun.
He stopped and the annoying pink-haired girl stopped right next to him. Hey Saki-kun, where are you going at this time of night? She asked with her annoying voice. No. Don't tell me you're really leaving the village for that snake creep? Sasuke smirked and looked at her terrified face as she realized that it was true. Oh yes, I am. You got that totally right. He said, then started to walk away again. Wait, if you leave me here alone, I'll be lonely. I'll be stuck with that annoying Naruto. You have no clue how it feels like to be lonely. And there is no more Naruto. What are you talking about? She asked. I could hear that she was crying. All I did was to walk away once more. What, Sasuke-kun? I'll do something if you leave. Oh, and what is that? I asked, smirking to myself. I'll scream if you go. Yes, I'll scream if you leave. Sasuke sighed, disappearing and reappeared behind her. Oh really? But if you that then the only thing I'll consider you a selfish bitch, he said. Putting her in a genjutsu, making her sleep, he left. Chapter 3. The demon is gone from this village. Still in Konoha, Tsunade and Sakura stared at the small brown fox that just appeared.
Hakage-sama.
The brown fox said, dropping a necklace in front of her. There was silence until Tsunade took the necklace in her shaking hands. This is Naruto's. How the hell did you get it? She hissed, bringing it to her chest. My lord had requested me to bring it to you and tell you it's pointless to chase after him. Pain wants you to announce to the whole village that he is gone forever and that he has officially joined the Akatsuki and that he won't bother this village any longer. The fox said, then disappeared. Sakura gasped as she saw tears falling down the Hokage's face. Never in her life she thought that the Hokage can cry. Sakura, you may leave, she said, leaving the room. For a while Sakura stood there looking at the two forehead protectors. She hadn't cried when Sasuke left the village and was wondering why she wasn't crying. She stroked her hair, remembering the time Sasuke has woken up and saved her. And before that, when Naruto fought against Orochimaru. She had thought a lot until the tears finally came. She realized that she was useless. She just looked at the two of them fight a legendary Saining. Now she really felt like a loser, which made her cry. The day after, all the villagers were gathered. Silence was only heard in the village. Nothing else. Today we are gathered for something very important, Tsunade said. She glanced at Kakashi, who just nodded. She took in a deep breath. You guys already know the Kyuubi that attacked us a few years ago. Well, his container, Naruto Uzumaki, people started to look panicked, talk, and some even fainted. Has left the village forever and officially joined the Akatsuki. And that Sasuke Uchiha left the village to train under Orochimaru. People started to cheer, cry of happiness, not caring if Sasuke has left or not. The ones who really knew Naruto and Sasuke weren't at all happy. Tsunade walked away without speaking another word to anybody. This is horrible, Kiba said, shaking his head, sitting on the floor, tears falling. Yeah. Shikamaru and Ino, who was next to Sakura, who was crying, traumatized of what the Hokage just said. Hinata had cried her heart's content and then fainted. At Orochimaru's lair, Sasuke was learning a new jutsu when he heard a knock on his door. Without answering, Kabuto entered the room. Sasuke, Orochimaru want to see you. There was a silence until Sasuke rolled up the scroll and putting on his bed. He got up and walked out to Orochimaru's lab. They walked in silence until they came to the hidden lab. The door opened and they walked in. Hearing the door open, Orochimaru turned around and smiled, seeing Sasuke.
Ah, Sasuke-kun.
How is my lovely student doing today? Shut up and get to the damn reason you called me.
Tesko Sasuke-kun.
No need to be rude now. It's about your Kyuubi friend now. Sasuke jerked his head towards Orochimaru, hearing the name Kyuubi and the word friend. I have no friend that has the Kyuubi, he said. Ah, it looks like you don't know about it, Orochimaru said, sitting down on his chair. You really are stupid after all, Kabuto said, which made Sasuke and Orochimaru glare at him. But Kabuto ignored it. He's talking about Uzumaki Uchiha. That took Sasuke's attention. Orochimaru and Kabuto knew that he still cared for the blonde, but not as much as before. What about him? Sasuke said, keeping his voice calm. Well, all I know about your blonde friend is that he officially left the village and joined the Akatsuki. Later this week, they're holding a festival, Orochimaru said, frowning a bit. Sasuke stayed silent a bit until they heard an explosion behind Orochimaru. Damn it! It looks like it failed again, Orochimaru whispered, glaring at the thing that just exploded. A few days later in Konoha. Papa, I want to go to that one over there, a little boy said, running to his father, pointing to a shooting game. Sure, why not? His father smiled gently to his son. Hinata sighed and tried to hold back tears. Today was the day they celebrated, the day when the Kyuubi boy left the village. Meaning the day Naruto left. All of the villagers were happy. Well, except the ones who really knew Naruto weren't happy. Their family asked them if they wanted to go, but all yelled at them and locked themselves in their room. The village was so happy that they didn't even notice there was an intruder in their village. There was a masked man walking in the crowded streets, not even stopping to look at the stands, and was ignoring everyone he bumped into. Ain't it great that the Kyuubi boy is done for good? This girl said to her friend. Yeah, I know, right? But what I'm afraid is that apparently he joined the Akatsuki. He could boom back here and destroys the village, her friend said, glancing around her to see if anyone was listening. Who cares? You heard them right? He won't bother this village anymore, the girl said, smiling. Yeah, but he can come back here anytime and attack us. Nah, don't worry. The masked man walked away from the two girls and left the village. Same day at the Akatsuki base. Naruto-kun, please sign here with your blood, Konan said, displaying a scroll in front of him. Naruto looked at the scroll, examining it. They were in a room with a bunch of scrolls and some seal techniques written on scrolls hanging down from the wall. Kit, just do it. It's just the thing you have to sign to officially be in the Akatsuki, the Kyuubi said. Naruto nodded and bit his thumb. Signing the scroll, he felt happy for some unknown reason. Maybe because he knew that no one could hurt him, or even maybe because he won't be going back to the stupid village. When he finished singing the scroll, he could feel the people around him relax. Welcome to the Akatsuki, Naruto, Pain said, smiling to the small blonde boy. Thank you, Naruto said, smirking wildly. Go train with Itachi now to control the Kyuubi's chakra, Pain said, leaving the room. Nodding, Naruto disappeared to the door of the kitchen where Itachi was waiting for him. Come, Itachi said, walking to another door that was next to Pain's office. They entered a hallway a bit larger than the rest of the hallways, but had more doors and had chakra bomb walls, meaning the walls were made out of bombs but only explode when too much chakra is exposed to it. We're here, Itachi said, stopping in front of a heavy-looking door with a seal. He did some hand signs and placed his hand on the door's seal. Nothing happened. That's what I thought, Itachi whispered, turning to Naruto. What? Don't tell me this room is made so that only I can open it. Naruto asked, raising his eyebrows. Itachi stayed silent. Okay, I get it, Naruto said, stepping in front of Itachi and placing his hand on the door's seal, concentrating his chakra in his hand. The seal recognized his chakra and opened. The door opened and they stepped in a bright reddish/orange color. They entered the room. The door closed after they entered. Break the seal, Itachi said softly. Huh? But Naruto said, but quickly shut his mouth when he saw Itachi's Sharingan activated. From that point, he knew Itachi had it all planned it all out. Relaxing, Naruto broke the seal. Feeling the Kyuubi's chakra flowing into him rapidly, he felt the pain. Dropping to the floor, he started to pant like he ran for hours without stopping. Itachi kneeled by him and put a seal on his back. Feeling the chakra flow slow down, he sat up and looked with a question look. Slows down chakra in the body, Itachi said, helping the blonde up. Now go talk to Kyuubi and try to merge your chakra with his. Naruto did so and went into the familiar cage of the Kyuubi. Hey Q, Naruto said, stroking one of the big paws. Hey kid, so you're ready or not? It's going to be a big change if you try to merge your chakra with mine, Kyuubi said. Yeah, I've been waiting for this moment, Naruto said, stepping backwards so that he can see the Kyuubi better. Okay, so let's get to it. Right? They closed their eyes and concentrated their chakra. Their chakra first started to merge perfectly when suddenly Naruto felt his stomach burning. Damn! Naruto cursed, clutching his stomach. Kid, are you okay? Yeah. Take it easy. You're just feeling the new chakra in your body. It starts where the seal is. A soft voice came from the corner of the room. Naruto and Kyuubi looked at the man who was there. Itachi walked out of the shadows and nodded to Kyuubi. Itachi Uchiha, the shinobi that killed his own clan but his little brother. The Kyuubi said without taking his eyes off of Naruto, who was now sitting and still clutching his stomach. Itachi didn't say anything to what the Kyuubi just has said but walked to Naruto's side. You'll get used to it after a while. Arg. It hurts, Naruto said, tears falling. Kid, we have to keep doing it. If you want to merge with my chakra, we have to finish. If we don't finish now, there is a big chance you'll die. Do we want that? Kyuubi said, bringing his head to Naruto's and Itachi's level. Jien? I'm trying Q. Here, hold on to me, Itachi said, hugging the blonde boy. Naruto clutched onto Itachi, shaking. The seal that Itachi made some of the pain go away but not all of it. It hurts. My body hurts. Make it stop. Please. Stop it. Naruto yelled, gripping onto Itachi harder. It's going to be okay, kid. Just think of something that you like or something like that. That made Naruto relax a bit, but he still was shaking furiously. 2 hours had passed and the blonde was now laying in Itachi's arms, exhausted. We're finally done, the blonde said, smiling, then falling asleep. That kid is strong, the Kyuubi said to Itachi, who kept looking at the sleeping blonde. Hn, we will be taking our leave now. Before Itachi could make any hand sings, the Kyuubi said something that Itachi did not think he would ever hear from the Kyuubi itself. Take care of him. If he is badly hurt, I will personally come out and hunt you down. Even if you hide, I will find you. Itachi paused for a moment but nodded after thinking for a bit. With a poof, they disappeared. Itachi opened his eyes and found himself sitting in the training room with a new blonde, well, now redhead with some streaks of blonde left. He sighed and picked up the sleeping boy up. He walked back to the redhead's room and laid him on his bed. He thought of what the Kyuubi had told him. Orochimaru's lair.
Sasuke-kun.
Orochimaru said, entering Sasuke's room. I know what you did, he said, smirking. Without looking up from his scroll, Sasuke raised a questioning brow. You went to Konoha the day they were celebrating the day the Kyuubi boy left the village. So what if I did? I have nothing there. I just wanted to get some of my stuff when the village is busy doing something else. Sasuke said in his monotone voice. Shihi, I don't think so, Sasuke-kun. I saw your sad face when you got back here. And with that, Sasuke got up and punched Orochimaru out of his room into the opposite wall. I said I didn't care what was happening and that stupid blonde. Sasuke hissed. I'm afraid that he isn't blonde anymore. A small voice came from the hallway. What are you doing here? Orochimaru hissed. Now, Orochimaru. Don't be so rude to one of your old teammates. I'm not part of the Akatsuki anymore, Conan. A blue-haired woman stepped out of the shadows. I know, but I have only come here to get something Pain wants me to get for Naruto-kun, she said, walking towards them. Sasuke looked at the woman, activating his Sharingan. The woman chuckled and faced Sasuke. That Sharingan you're proud of does not work on me, Sasuke-kun. She smiled gently to him, then disappeared. In Konoha,
Hokage-sama.
We couldn't find Uchiha Sasuke anywhere, and Anbu said, giving his report to the Hokage. I see. Thank you. You may go now. Tsunade said, waving the Anbu away. The Anbu bowed and disappeared. Shizune, Tsunade yelled. Yes, Hokage-sama? Shizune asked. I need you to go find Kakashi, Sakura, Irika, Anko, and Guy's team right now. Yes, ma'am. A few minutes after everyone arrived just like she requested. Hokage-sama, everyone bowed. You guys might want to know why I asked you to be here. Well, you all know that Naruto had left the village and joined the Akatsuki. Tsunade getting up. Yes, they all answered union. Tomorrow you will go and look for the Akatsuki base. If you come across an Akatsuki member, try to capture them and force them to tell you where the base is. Tsunade said, facing the windows. And if you get into the Akatsuki base, well, you know what to do. Now go and leave in 3 hours. This mission might take a month, she said. Yes, they all said in union again and disappeared. 3 hours later, in front of the Konoha's gates. Everyone was there like the Hokage said. Okay, I'll be the leader, Anko said. Everyone agreed without any arguments. Right, so everyone has what they need? Yes. Okay then, let's go. Anko said, walking with Kakashi in front. Hey Sakura, do you know why Naruto left the village? Tenten asked.
No.
Not like I care. Why should I care? Why does the Hokage have to send me after that stupid blonde? Sakura said angrily. How can you say that? He's your teammate and your friend. Him? My friend? You got to be kidding me. I prefer going after Sasuke-kun. After all, he's way nicer than that stupid blonde. Sakura, you really are stupid. Huh? What did you say? Sakura asked, ready to punch Tenten when Neji stopped her. You really are, Sakura. You're the one who's been mean to him. You can't say anything about him being mean, he said, glaring at her. I can say that because he's always calling Sasuke a bastard when he is not, Sakura said, pulling away from Neji's grip. He calls Sasuke that because that's the way they interact with each other, apart from taking a nap in the afternoon holding hands, but I mean, come on, Dash. He what? He took naps with Sasuke-kun while holding hands? I'm going to. Sakura yelled but was soon interrupted. Sakura, Neji said once more, jipping Sakura but this time by her shoulders at looking at her directly into her eyes. Naruto was Sasuke's best friend. Sakura stayed silent for a while and they started to walk again. This time Sakura was lost in thoughts while Lee was just trying to figure what the Hokage said before. And if you get into the Akatsuki base, well, you know what to do. He didn't get it at first until 3 hours after they left the village. She had meant to say, please bring Naruto back to me safe and sound. Chapter 4. My dear Reed Head. Orochimaru's lair in the same time Konoha had sent some of theirs to look for Naruto. Sasuke was currently working on his Chidori when Kabuto arrived. Sasuke, Orochimaru has something for you, Kabuto said, fixing his glasses. Sasuke looked at him for a while, then walked to Orochimaru's room.
Ah, Sasuke-kun.
Orochimaru said, looking up from his scroll. Sasuke didn't say anything but narrowed his eyes. Right. Anyways, I will be giving you a mission. After all, you've been only training and learning new jutsus for 2 weeks. Sasuke raised an eyebrow without saying anything. I need you to go retrieve an object that I need in a town in the water country. It's small and looks all innocent, but really, they're hiding something that is very vulnerable. Sasuke nodded, understanding this was going to be an easy mission. Orochimaru threw a scroll to Sasuke, who caught it and glanced at it with suspense. The instruction to get to the village, Orochimaru said, getting up from his bed, walking to his wardrobe, taking a black cloak. Be quick. I don't think you want to miss out the fun we're going to have, Orochimaru said, giving Sasuke the cloak. Sasuke shivered a bit, leaving the hideout. It's been a while since he had seen the sunlight after a few days, but it didn't really bother him. Jumping on a tree, he took out the scroll and unrolled it. The village is in the southeast of the Wind Country. The object you are looking for is a small orb. It lies in a shrine in the forest next to the village. Sasuke sighed and shook his head. Why would he give me a simple mission? Though. A few hours later, he could feel similar chakra signatures. The only chakra he knew were from Konoha. Annoyed that they had crossed paths, he decided to run past them without them noticing. So he ran past them, ignoring who was there. Sakura's POV. We were in a small clearing in the middle of the forest, deciding it was best to rest here for a while. Everyone ignored me since what happened in front of the gates, but I didn't care. It's their problem, not mine. Of course, Lee was talking about his love for me, but I ignored him like usual. I decided to go for a little stroll in the woods. I didn't need to say anything to Kakashi or anybody because I knew they saw me leaving. I was walking in the forest, listening to the animals and wind making a smooth melody until I saw a figure run past me. I got mad because the person had just pushed me on the floor without saying sorry or helping me back up. I mean, who doesn't? So I started to run after them, yelling, "Stop! You knocked me down. You owe me an apology." But the person didn't stop, he only ran faster. So I ran faster. After a while, he stopped. Thinking he was tired, I stopped a few feet of him, smirking. "So you finally gave up, huh?" I asked. "You really are an annoying bitch," a cold voice said. I shivered a bit hearing the voice. "Who are you to call a bitch to someone you don't even know?" I yelled. "Oh, I do know you," the person said, turning around. I stood there staring at the person in front of me. "Sasuke," I said, dropping to my knees, smiling at him. "I knew it. You would come back for me." "Heh, you really are stupid. I don't need you or that stupid village. I have no business with you," he said, turning back around and started to leave again. "Wait," I yelled, running after him. "Why did you leave? Why are you with they snake creeper?" I asked, still running after him. But at every question I asked, he wouldn't answer me. Soon we arrived to a small village, and there I lost him. Damn it! I cursed to myself. I looked around and saw that I was lost. There were no signs of the others. I sighed and decided to stay in the village since it was obvious that they would need to stop in the village. Feeling tired, I rested against the tree next to me and rested there. At the Akatsuki base. "Naruto," Itachi said, entering the room. Naruto was currently in reading a scroll. He said without looking at Itachi. "Pain wants to see us." Rolling the scroll back, Naruto got up and walked to Itachi, who was already walking to Pain's office. Itachi noticed Naruto put the scroll in his fighting yukata. He had changed his clothes when they were in a village before he arrived in the Akatsuki base. Knocking on Pain's door, Naruto had pulled some of his hair in a small ponytail, meaning he was ready to fight. "Gomein," Pain said. "Ah, you came," he said, placing a scroll on his desk. Why wouldn't we? Naruto said, placing his hand on his thin hip. Pain chuckled, shaking his head. It's been only 3 days and everyone attached to the reed head. Even Pain, the leader of the Akatsuki, had a small soft spot for the blonde. Well, anyways, you'll be going to be on an S-rank mission. Pain said, getting serious. Well, why won't I be going on an S-rank mission after I joined the Akatsuki? Naruto said, rolling his eyes. Because of the Kyuubi's chakra, Konan said, appearing behind Pain. Ah, Naruto said, raising his head a bit. Konan, show them what we got for them. Pain said, glancing to Konan. Nodding, she threw them each a small pouch. Raising an eyebrow, Itachi looked at the pouch. Why would we need these? He asked, holding the pouch in between his thumb and index like it was something that was going to contaminate him at any moment. We'll just have see that when the time come for us to use it, Naruto said, shaking the pouch a little. Naruto is right. Now take the scroll and go on the mission. You don't want to miss out the fun before the sun sets. Tien said, laughing a bit. What do you mean? Naruto asked, tilting his head a bit to the side. Come on, Itachi said, pulling the blonde out of the office before Pain could say anything. Naruto looked confused a bit but then shook his head. When they were out of the Akatsuki base, Itachi and Naruto put on their cloak and hat. Naruto unrolled the scroll and read it. A frown found its way on Naruto's face. What is it? Itachi asked. We need to go to the Wind Country, an island of the dead, meaning it only appears at the full moon and on the same day there is a festival. Naruto said, handing the scroll to Itachi. So? He asked, not getting the redhead's point. Reading Itachi's mind, the redhead sighed and started running. Not far behind, Itachi followed. I've never liked festivals, Naruto said after a while. Itachi didn't say anything, but Naruto knew that Itachi knew what he meant by not liking festivals. They ran in silence until they got to this small village in the fire country. Itachi, let's stop here for a while. I want to eat something, Naruto said, pointing to a small food shop. Itachi nodded. Naruto walked to the small shop, buying himself some food. He knew Itachi would wander off in the village, so he had to keep his guard up. Itachi walked by the forest looking for a tree for him to sleep in. He had found a good big oak tree with a lot of leaves. He was about to jump into the tree when he heard footsteps. He waited until he saw the person come out. To his surprise, it was his foolish little brother. You, Sasuke hissed, pulling out his Chidori sword. You're part of the Akatsuki. Tell me where is Naruto and I won't hurt you, he said. Itachi stayed silent for a while and made Sasuke a bit annoyed. Don't make me repeat myself. Tell me dash. I won't tell you where Naruto-kun is, Itachi said quickly. Sasuke narrowed his eyes, then smirked. What a coincidence. I'm on a mission and I cross path with Konoha shit and then my own brother. Sasuke prepared himself to fight his brother while Itachi just slipped off his hat. Smirking, Sasuke said, You will die. And to spread. Itachi sighed and shook his head. Foolish little brother. He felt Sasuke's presence from above but didn't do anything. Sasuke's POV. I appeared above of Itachi and was ready to attack. Itachi didn't move or anything. He only said, foolish little brother, which made me angry, but knowing that he knew where I was and didn't do anything made it simpler. So maybe you do want to die after all, I yelled. I was just about to swing my sword when I felt something kick my ribs and I flew backwards. I got up and glared at the person who just dared to that to me. To my surprise, it was Naruto. Sorry, Itachi. I was still eating when I felt Sasuke's chakra. Naruto said, eating a rice ball. HN, Itachi said. Naruto didn't even look at me since he got here, and worst of it, he walked to Itachi's side. Find anything interesting? Itachi asked. Naruto answered, looking at the trees and stuffing the last piece of the rice ball. Gulping, he said, I found out that the island is not too far from. I didn't listen to the rest of what Naruto was saying. I was too busy looking at Naruto. He had changed the past 2 weeks. He wasn't blonde anymore. He had put his hair in a small ponytail. His whiskers like scars darkened and his eyes were red. When Naruto piantied towards the forest, I could see a sleeve of a yukata. I was cocked out of my thoughts when I saw him glance in my direction, then pulled out something and I felt a burst of chakra. I moved out of the way but then realized it wasn't aimed for me. I turned around to see what he was aiming for. The only thing I saw was a shinobi of Konoha with 2 deep cuts in his chest. "Chi, just a clone," Naruto said, glaring at the clone. "Naruto, let's go before the sun sets," Itachi said. Naruto said, turning his back to me. They were about to disappear when I suddenly stood up and yelled. Something that I hadn't expected to say. "Wait!" I yelled. They had stopped. "Naruto, why did you join the Akatsuki? And why are you here with my brother?" I heard Naruto laugh and shook his head. "Oh well, that's easy to answer," he said, turning around. "I had enough of the village and I'm here with Itachi because we're on a mission. Thank you very much. I think I've answered everything, so I will take my leave. Goodbye, Sasuke." He spat at me, narrowing his red eyes. "Why did you leave Konoha?" I whispered. "I told you already." "Why? I thought you loved the village," I yelled. I could feel that I activated my Sharingan. As soon as I realized that I had my Sharingan activate, my brother had activated his. "Itachi, save your chakra," Naruto said without looking at him. My brother had stayed silent for a while but then nodded and closed his eyes. "Now Sasuke, why did you leave the village?" "Because you only thought of your stupid revenge on your brother for killing your whole clan. Even though the stupid Hokage told him to. You ignored everything around you. You only thought of revenge and power. Just like that damn clan of yours you're so proud of. The only Uchiha that's not maniac like the rest of the clan is Itachi," he said, his eyes getting redder and chakra started to form around him. I back away a bit, protecting myself with my sword. But then I saw Naruto calm down a bit as Itachi placed a hand on his shoulder. "Calm down, Naruto," Itachi whispered loud enough that I could hear him. Naruto nodded. They were about to leave again, but then I got up from where I was sitting and charged to Itachi. But then I saw Naruto turn around and blocked my sword with a simple fan. "Sasuke, don't you know any manners?" Naruto asked, tilting his head a bit sideways. "Shut up, Dobe, and move it. Don't get in my way," I hissed. With his fan, Naruto threw me backwards, putting his fan on his lips. Now, I don't think it's polite to attack my former teammate," he said, smirking a bit. "He's my damn brother. I'm allowed to attack him," I yelled.
Mas, Maya Sasuke.
"Just by yelling you're getting attention," Naruto said, looking towards the small village. "If you want to fight him first, you'll have to get through me. But since I don't have time, I'll just leave," he said again. Instead of walking away, he disappeared with a poof. Itachi was still there but only shook his head. "Foolish little brother," he said, picking up his fallen hat and Naruto's Chapter 5. Naruto POV. I appeared not too far from where Sasuke and Itachi were, so I just waited for Itachi to come. I didn't regret a thing leaving the village at all. In fact, I am really happy. It seems like Sasuke had joined Orochimaru. But I couldn't care less. Apparently I was his best friend. But I never thought of that. I probably don't remember much, but I remember when I was smaller Itachi had taught me some stuff, but not a lot since he was given a lot of missions. And I never told Sasuke that. So for me, he wasn't a best friend. He was just someone to have a good fight with apart from Lee, who can only use taijutsu. I was deep in thoughts until I felt an unfamiliar chakra hiding close by. I took out one of my fans and aimed at the tree which the person was hiding behind. "Come out. I know you're there. There is no point on hiding," I said, narrowing my eyes. I waited for a moment, then a young boy came out. "Like you can hurt me," said the boy, smirking. I answered, not caring. The boy got angry and was about to attack me. But suddenly Itachi appeared behind the boy and punched the boy, making him unconscious. "Finished already?" I asked. Knowing I don't care if he answers or not, he didn't say anything and started to walk again.
No.
Not that way. There are people that I don't like and I might lose my mind and kill unnecessary people. I said, shaking my head, turning to the other way. But then there was an explosion. Itachi tuned into a raven and landed on my shoulder, while I had to block it. Nice to know you could block it, Dobe. A voice came from the explosion. I sighed and shook my head. I don't feel like fighting. Should we leave? I asked Itachi. He croaked and flapped his wings, meaning yes. I nodded and was about to leave until I felt someone right behind me. I knew Sasuke was about to attack me. I blocked his sword with one of my fans and glare into Sharingan eyes. You should have leave us be, I said, pushing him back. Like I would. He yelled and activated his Chidori. You're weak, I said, shaking my head. I may be weak, but I am stronger than you, he hissed. How annoying pest you are, I hissed. I took off my hat one more time. I opened one of my fans and took my battle position. That fan of yours can't do anything against Chidori. So annoying. Sasuke's POV. So annoying, he said, rolling his eyes. The raven that was on Naruto's shoulder stayed put even when I threatened him. I was in deep thoughts how I can defeat the Dobe without a big commotion when suddenly I could feel a big amount of chakra. I looked at the sky. The weather had changed at the sudden strong chakra. It had started to rain. I smirked knowing that I could control the lighting with my Chidori. You are dead, I said, concentrating more chakra in my hand. But then my Chidori disappeared. What the dash? You thought that you could control the lighting with Chidori, the reed head said. I looked up at him, and at that moment I wanted to run away, to hide, to do anything but to stand here looking up at my old friend expression. He was smirking, not an ordinary smirk, but a sadistic smirk. I stumbled back and fell to the ground. I don't know what happened, but I could feel my body shaking. Now, I think it's time for you to perish, Naruto said, raising his fan. Lightning started to crackle right above us and I could feel burning hot chakra around me. I could feel it. He was about to strike. I wanted to close my eyes, to scream, but I couldn't. But then suddenly the raven on Naruto's shoulder flew in between us and formed into Itachi. When my brother was in his human form, he hugged Naruto. Naruto, don't do anything stupid. Your anger for Konoha is only getting you. The Sasuke. He left the village, he said. I could see Naruto struggling from Itachi's grip but then calmed down. You're right,
I'm sorry, Itachi.
Naruto said. The strong chakra around me disappeared and the sky became blue again. For the first time in my life, I felt scared of someone of my age. Let's go, Itachi said, picking Naruto's hat. Naruto answered, closing his eyes. Do not come after us, Sasuke, he said, opening his eyes. And with that, he left. With my brother. My own damn brother. Well, damn. I have never expected that. I heard someone say. I turned around and saw a root ninja. Hello, Sasuke Uchiha. My business here is over, he said, plastering a fake smile on his face. Naruto and Itachi. Itachi, do you think that I will be able to live peaceful? Naruto asked after they appeared in another village. He answered. That's good to know, Naruto said, smiling a bit to himself. They had stopped in the village they were looking for and decided to stay there for a while. Since the incidents with Sasuke, Itachi hasn't said a single word. They stayed silent until there was a knock on the door. A female voice said from the other side of the door. Instantly Itachi turned into a raven and crawled onto Naruto's shoulder. Yes, Naruto asked, opening the door. There is going to be a festival this night. We have free yukatas, she said, blushing a bit. That would be wonderful. I have a friend that will be meeting me here soon, and I guess he will need one, Naruto said, smiling to the woman. Yes, of course, she said, bowing. Naruto closed the door behind him and sighed. The raven on Naruto's shoulder croaked and started flapping its wings furiously. "What is it?" Naruto asked, glaring at the raven. It croaked again and flew to the bed. "Right? You don't like wearing a yukata, but you'll have to wear one," Naruto said, walking over to the window which had a view onto the sea. "No one said I had to wear one until that woman came, and you had to use something to not turn her down and hurt her feelings," Itachi said, sitting on the bed. "Don't be mad, Itachi. They will find us suspicious if we don't go to the festival," Naruto said, slipping off his Akatsuki cloak, revealing his fighting yukata. "I'll be wearing this one while you will be wearing the one that woman will give you," he said, turning to Itachi. And to his surprise, Naruto's eyes were blue. "Naruto, are you excited to be going to this festival?" Itachi asked, taking off his Akatsuki clothes. "In fact, I am excited to be going to this one," Naruto said, giving Itachi a warm smile. Itachi knew the reason why Naruto was excited to go to the festival. It was going to be the first festival that no one is going to glare at him, treat him like a monster, throw him trash and abuse him. "How are we going to get to the island if we don't want to get noticed walking on the water?" Naruto asked, narrowing his eyes to the sea. "We'll ask someone to take us over there," Itachi said, looking at the blonde. "But they call it the Island of the Dead, meaning people wouldn't go there because they're scared. But it would be funny if Naruto, calm down. You're getting sadistic again." Naruto stared at the sea with dark purple eyes and a wild smirk on his face, but then turns to Itachi, nodding. Closing his eyes, Naruto sighed and sat down on the chair beside him. "Sorry," he said, curling up in a ball. "No need to. I guess Kurama's need of blood ID getting to you," Itachi said, closing his eyes. "No, not really. It's mostly me who wants to make people feel what I felt when I was little," Naruto said, taking off his boots and putting on flats. "I hate your HNs," Naruto said, getting up and walked to the bed. "Okay, fine, whatever," Naruto pouted and dropped on to the bed next to Itachi. Itachi answered, watching the redhead. "Itachi? The real reason was to prevent a war?" Naruto said, turning his head to Itachi with his blue eyes. "Itachi, I know that you know what I am talking about." "Naruto, you know that perfectly. I told you the reason." "I know, but I couldn't believe it until I met your brother. By the way, he's so annoying with his revenge thing." "Not surprising after I messed up his mind," Itachi shrugged. "Itachi," Naruto said, getting up and gently slapped Itachi's face. "Idiot, you didn't mess up his mind. He got it all wrong. The one with the mess-up mind is me. I should be happy that they gave me a home. I should be happy I had friends to play with even though they didn't know I had the QB. I knew they were scared of the QB. The only persons I ever trusted when I was little before I left Konoha was Kurama, you, and nobody else. I thought I could trust them, but I couldn't. Slowly I started to hate them. Kill one person on my birthday. When they would threaten me, I would threaten them back and they would run away. And that's how people from the village that hate me left me alone, because they were scared of me. They didn't know I was smarter than them. They thought I brought the QB to the village when I was only a newborn. I tried to tell them, but they would only abuse me. When I had enough after I tried to tell them one more time, and they were about to abuse me, I broke their bones." Itachi couldn't say anything. He just stared at the man in front of him, telling him that he has a mad mind. "I thought I loved the village, but deep down, I hated them," Naruto finally said to Itachi, shaking his head. Itachi was petrified. He didn't know what to say nor what to do. He realized when Naruto was taking that his eye color changed when he's angry, sad, or happy. But now there was plain hatred in them. Red angry cat-like eyes. Chapter 6. Still with Naruto and Itachi. "Naruto," Itachi said, looking at the window.
I'm sorry, Itachi.
I went too far, Naruto said, getting off the bed and headed to the door. I'll be on the beach, he said without taking one last glance before he closed the door. Itachi sat on the bed, still looking through the window until he saw red hair and a blue and orange yukata. He could see Naruto walking next to the water, looking at the horizon. Itachi decided to sleep a bit since he knew it was going to be a long night. Naruto looked out to the horizon. He was stressed after telling Itachi why he hated the village. I shouldn't have told him. It was a bad thing, Naruto thought to himself. No, it wasn't a bad thing you told him. You needed to tell him sooner or later, the Kyuubi said. Yeah, I guess. Naruto stood there by the water, feeling the wind picking up by the hour. Families would leave and some would arrive. And not once he turned his head where his and Itachi's room was. He listened to the children scream, yell, the parents talking to each other, the splash of the water hitting the rocks and the people diving. He stayed there until the water has arrived to his mid-thighs, wetting a bit of his yukata. He stared right in front of him, not moving one bit. Suddenly there was a croak and a raven landed on Naruto's shoulder. Naruto didn't say anything until the raven croaked again, this time flapping its wings. You know, I think you show more emotions when you're a raven than a human, Naruto finally said, a bit annoyed from Itachi's croaking. Itachi croaked again and flapped his wings wildly and shook his head viciously. Right?
I'm sorry.
He turned around and started to go back to the hotel when suddenly the sand around them started moving. Suddenly a clone of Gaara appeared. Naruto, why did you leave the village? Gaara, I don't want to answer your question right now, Naruto said, walking by him. But Gaara didn't listen to him. He just looked at the raven on Naruto's shoulder. I won't force you tell me now, but promise me to tell me the reason why you left the village. Don't worry, Gaara. I will, Naruto said without looking at Gaara. Naruto, you've changed. Did you merge with the Kyuubi? You're right. I did, Naruto said. The raven on Naruto's shoulder croaked and flapped its wings once more. That raven, Gaara started but then was cut off by another croak but louder. Instantly, Naruto brought up his hand and caressed the raven's head. You're right again. It's him, Naruto said, entering the hotel, leaving the clone alone. The clone of Gaara stayed there for a while but then demolished in simple sand again. Back in the hotel. When they got back to the room, Itachi changed back to his human form. What did you find? We're in the village, Naruto said, his back to Itachi. HN. And there's another thing. HN. There's a barrier. Around the island. I sent one of my small frogs and they couldn't get through at some point. I'm gonna go there, Naruto said, biting his lip. I thought you wanted to go to the festival. Oh, we are going to the festival. It's that I'm going a bit before the island appears in the moonlight of the full moon, Naruto said, facing Itachi, giving his a foxy grin. Don't go around doing something foolish enough to bring attention. I won't. Don't go killing random people. I won't. Or drink their blood. I won't. Or torture them. I won't, Naruto growled, a bit annoyed. Naruto laid on the bed and fell asleep next to Itachi. Itachi sighed and shook his head. He'll never do what I tell him, Itachi thought to himself. Time passed and the two missing Nins slept until the sunset. Naruto, wake up, Itachi whispered to the redhead, shaking him a bit. Naruto answered, getting up and fixing his yukata. He looked out of the window and saw the sun setting. You have to pretend you're the person I'm meeting, he said, yawning. HN, Itachi said, turning into a raven, and waited for Naruto to open the window. After Itachi had left, Naruto got out a small pouch from his sleeve and summoned Himawari. You called, my lord, the small brown fox said, bowing. No need to be polite at the moment, Naruto said, sitting on the bed. Yes. Well, anyways, I need to bring this to Gaara, he said, giving him the small pouch. Right? The fox said, taking the pouch, and disappeared. Then there was a knock on the door. Mr. Uzumaki, a famine voice said. Coming, Naruto said, getting up from the bed. Your guest is here, the woman said. Oh, thank you, he said, smiling brightly to the woman. If you want, I could show you the way, she said, smiling back. Oh, please do, she bowed and turned around. Naruto quickly stepped out of the room and closed the door behind him. He followed the woman to a small bar in the hotel that he didn't know they had. They walked tables and doors until they came to the end to a hallway. Your guest is in here, she said, smiling. Thank you. But may I ask why we are in a private room? Naruto asked, narrowing his eyes. Oh, I'm sorry I haven't told you why you're in a private room. It's because when our customers are here during the festival and want to put on the yukatas we give for free, we need to take their measurements and people don't like it when we enter their rooms, the woman said. Okay, thank you, Naruto said, opening the door. Have a nice time and call when you want the yukata for your friend. She bowed, then left. Naruto entered the room and locked the door. Itachi, Naruto said, frowning a bit. He turned around and faced an really unhappy Itachi. Those girls were all over me, he said, sighing. And? What did you do to get them off your back? I told them I was gay. Oh, okay. Wait, are you really?
No.
Okay, good. Because I'm straight. I've been in love with Hinata for quite some time. Yeah, well, me, I've never been in love. Well, good for you, because it's annoying to be in love. HN. Well, anyways, I think it's best to ask the ones that work here a bit of the festival and the island. HN. God, you're so annoying. HN. Okay, that's it. You're going to be in misery right now, Naruto said, opening the door and yelling for the woman. Miss? Yes, Mr. Uzumaki? My friend here is ready, he said, turning around to Itachi with a grin. Itachi just glared at the redhead. You're going to be dead, Naruto said. The woman came in and greeted Itachi. Hello, she bowed. I would need your measurements for the yukata, please, she said. All right, Itachi said, getting up. The girl perked up and started to measure Itachi. Excuse me, miss. Me, Ren. Right, Ren. What is this festival about? Oh, so you guys came here without knowing what is it about? Most likely, Naruto shrugged and dropped into the couch beside Itachi. Well, there's an island that appears only during the full moon. But not at every full moon it comes out. It only comes out in the month of September. There was a legend saying there were people trapped on the island. They were trapped by an evil demon. If I remember clearly, the demon sucked their chakra out and uses them, she said, shivering a bit. But then it was just a legend. The festival is about the dead people from that island coming back to life. Finished measuring Itachi and turned to Naruto. I'll be back. I'm gonna find a yukata that fits him. Oh, and mister, what color would you like? She asked Itachi. I would like navy blue, please. Yes. She bowed and walked out. She gave more information than I thought she would, Naruto said. HN. Ugh, you and your HNs, Naruto said, throwing his head back. There was silence until Ren came back with a navy blue yukata. Sorry for the wait, Ren said, scratching her head. Thank you, Itachi said, getting up and taking the yukata from her. You're welcome. I'll be leaving you to change. She bowed and left the room again. Itachi sighed and then glared at Naruto. Naruto said, feeling someone glaring at him. Seeing it was Itachi, he opened his mouth and put his hand in front. "Oh, am I supposed to get out?" Naruto asked, grinning. But all Itachi didn't say anything but glared. "We're both men," he said, but Itachi kept his glare.
GRRRR. Fine.
Naruto said, getting up, and left the room, slamming the door. While Itachi was changing, Naruto walked back up to his room. Grr. So annoying. I wish he wasn't stubborn, Naruto thought to himself. Naruto, I know you can feel it too, the Kyuubi said. Feel what? Naruto answered. Kid, I can hear your thoughts, you know. Right? I forgot. You forgot that I'm still here. Nope. Yeah, right. Well, anyways, I know you can feel that strong chakra. Are you saying there's really a demon over there? Dumbass. That's what I'm saying. And if I remember clearly, he even tried to get me. Oh, so the great mighty Kurama was chased by an evil demon from an island called Dead Island. Shut up. It isn't funny. Their conversation was cut off by a door opening. Immediately Naruto got up from the bed and got one of his fans in his hand, ready to attack. Idiot, Itachi said, looking at Naruto.
Sorry.
Naruto said, sighed, and put back his fan in his sleeve. Itachi looked at Naruto with a questioning look. Just talking to Kurama. HN. Anyway, let's go, Naruto said, pulling Itachi out of the room. When they got downstairs, they told Rin they will be coming back late. Once outside, the whole town was laminated. The streets were full of stands and people in yukatas. Children were running, eating, and playing. Naruto was holding on to Itachi's sleeve unconsciously, scared if people might glare at him or abuse him. Naruto, Itachi whispered to Naruto. Naruto looked at Itachi, biting his lip. It's going to be okay. The people here don't know you. And if there are people from the village, I don't think they will recognize you. And besides, you are part of the Akatsuki, and I am here. Itachi whispered. Naruto looked at Itachi, shocked. Itachi realized Naruto's red eyes had softened after he had told him that it's going to be fine. Come on, Hikaru, Naruto said, pulling Itachi to a shooting stand. Yeah, Itachi said, uncomfortable. When they got to the stand, the owner saw them and smiled warmly to them. Want to play a game, kid? The man asked Naruto. Yes, please, Naruto said, smiling back. Pick out 5 darts out of these 10 darts. Then you have to throw one to each balloon, the man said, disposing 10 different darts in front of Naruto. He chose the darts and threw the first one. Of course, he got it. The second was a bit hard, but he still got it. The third one annoyed him. It kept moving, and it was in the water. I thought you said this one would be easy since it's a shooting game, Itachi said to Naruto. Shut up, Naruto said, blushing a bit. The owner shook his head and sighed. Kids these days. So, where do you come from? I haven't seen you here before. Oh, we're here only for the festival since one of our friends told us that this festival is a good one. I see. Yeah, we've been getting more and more visitors here because of the festival. Hey, Hikaru. I got all of them. Even though the one in the water and the one being blown were annoying, I got them all, Naruto said, tugging on Itachi's sleeve and pointing to the balloons. Itachi looked at Naruto and smiled back. That's good. You get a stuffed animal. Now, which one do you want, kid? The owner said. I want that blue dragon over there, Naruto said, pointing to a small blue dragon with a crystal ball in one paw and its eyes red. Nice choice, kid, the owner said, taking down the small stuffed animal creature. Thank you, mister, Naruto said, taking the prize and leaving with Itachi. 2 hours had passed and they were totally loaded with prizes. They had stopped in a small restaurant next to the beach. Naruto had asked for fried shrimps with French fries and Itachi had just asked for rice balls, a tuna sandwich and dangos. You really like dangos, Naruto said. HN. And you don't really like ramen, Itachi said. Whatever. And for a long time Itachi saw Naruto's eyes sky blue. It wasn't like the blue he had seen before he merged with the Kyuubi's chakra, but the sky blue eyes he had when he was still in Konoha with him. It's time, Naruto said, smiling a bit sad. Itachi raised a questioning eyebrow until the lights went out and fireworks exploded. They turned their heads to the horizon and saw a shadow. Slowly the shadow became an island, and soon after, the island was fully visible. Itachi, it's time to go, Naruto said, getting up. Chapter 7. Konoha. Tsunade was standing in her office, staring out the window into the night. The team she sent out to look for Naruto had failed their mission when Sakura went off after Sasuke, so she sent an Umbu team out to look for Naruto this time. Damn it, Naruto, why did you leave? Why did you abandon the village you loved so much? Why did you give me back this? She thought to herself, gripping the necklace in her hand. She tried to hold back tears, but they just fell. Just like a flower. When it dies, slowly the petals fall. Tsunade, a voice came from the door. I know you're in pain. You need to cry. Just for once. Let all your feeling take over for once. Even if you're Hokage, you need to show feelings, Jiraiya said, sitting down on a chair. He was a bright child, a child that held a mask up. He smiled gently, knowing the villagers hated him. He did everything to get this necklace. His dream was to become Hokage, just like his father. He was my last hope, the last person I could believe can become Hokage. And he's the reason I became Hokage. I thought of him like a little brother. I loved him like a little brother. But Don't go thinking of stupid stuff, Jiraiya hissed. Tsunade's heart skipped a beat. Never had she ever heard Jiraiya's voice like that.
I'm sorry,
Tsunade said, collapsing on her chair, and cried. It's okay. You're not the only one who's hurt. With Gaara. The small brown fox appeared next to Gaara on a rooftop.
Gaara-sama.
The small fox said, bowing his head. Gaara turned his head towards the fox. The fox dropped the small pouch next to Gaara and quickly looked at Jim if he was going to attack him or not. I'm not going to hurt you, Gaara said, taking the pouch. It would be declaring war in between us foxes and you raccoons. The fox smirked. I'm not a raccoon. I know, Gaara-sama. I was just trying to be funny. Well, that's not really funny. Gaara opened the small pouch and looked inside it. A small, pretty red stone. It was on a chain and had a little note. To Gaara, I hope you like it. I found it on my way to the Akatsuki bas. Don't ask why I went there. Naruto. Gaara-sama. May I ask, how did you found Uzumaki-sama? The fox asked. Gaara glared at the fox, and he growled back. It's my duty to protect Uzumaki-sama, the fox spat. I sent clones in all the countries and every village when I heard Naruto left the village, Gaara said, putting the necklace on. The fox nodded and disappeared. Back with Itachi and Naruto. Took a while for them to arrive to the point where they couldn't pass. The barrier was 10 to 30 feet away from the island, so that caused a problem. I can deal with this, Naruto said, taking out a scroll and sat down on the still water. Itachi stood next to Naruto, watching him doing whatever he was going. Naruto bit his thumb and waited for enough blood to write stuff on the scroll. After he written the stuff he needed on the scroll, he closed his eyes and started to make some hand sings. He stayed there for at least 10 minutes doing hand sings until suddenly there a strong wind. Itachi squinted his eyes and saw Naruto smirking. Naruto opened his eyes and stood up, rolling the scroll back up. I broke the barrier, and we're invited. Itachi nodded and they started running again. When they arrived to the border of the island, Naruto stopped so suddenly he was about to trip. What is it? Itachi asked, also stopping. Naruto didn't answer but kept still, looking around him. His red eyes narrowed at some point on the island. Don't activate your Sharingan. Naruto said before Itachi was about to activate his Sharingan to see what Naruto saw. I don't know how to explain this, but there's a huge boar in the forest, observing us. But he's not the so-called demon. The demon is in the center of the island, and he's one of the demon's servants. The boar is dead. It stinks, Naruto said, growling. Itachi looked at Naruto, then back to the dark island. Naruto took a step on to the island. Suddenly there were a grumble, and then they saw a huge boar with a red eye, spears sticking out of its back, bones sticking out of its stomach, and bugs crawling out of its nose, mouth, and its missing eye. Naruto made a face and looked at the boar with disgust. That's what I was talking about, Naruto said. Itachi stood next to Naruto, looking at the boar like it was something that could contaminate his too if he gets any closer. You, the boar said, looking straight at Naruto. The master wants your power. You're the god of this world. He must have you. The boar charged towards Naruto but soon was sent back by Itachi. You low human, don't interfere, the bear yelled at Itachi. Don't you dare talk like that to Itachi, Naruto growled, but the boar laughed. How wonderful, a god worrying about a mere human. Master was right, it will be much easier. The boar laughed and charged toward Itachi this time, but suddenly the boar stopped right in front of him. Itachi took off his hat and looked at Naruto. He had put the boar in a genjutsu. Let's go, Itachi said. Naruto nodded and they headed off into the forest. Deep inside of the island. Rahahaha, look what we have here. A god and a. Back with Naruto and Itachi. Itachi, there's something up ahead. A deer. But it's alive, Naruto said, speeding up a bit. Suddenly there was an explosion and it barely hit Naruto. Naruto whimpered a bit and flinched. They landed not too far from the explosion and were glaring at the spot where the explosion came from. Naruto threw off his Akatsuki cloak and his hat. He rolled up his right sleeve to reveal a burn healing up. Well, nice try to hurt me, Naruto growled. That was Master's orders. Two little children came out of the smoke. To get you and Uchiha-san to him, the girl said, pointing to the highest point of the island. Okay, Naruto said, raising an eyebrow. We cannot harm you, the boy said to Itachi, seeing that Itachi still had his Sharingan activated. The children started to walk towards the mountain. Not too far behind, Naruto and Itachi followed. Hey, do you guys remember how you died? Naruto asked.
No.
We do not remember. All we remember is that we are simple children from a small village once on this island. We also know that Master can control us and we are his dead servants. We do not feel pain. We do not have feeling. We don't feel anything, the girl said. Are you the only ones?
No.
We take turns going out searching for our master's needs. They're older people working in the palace. The boy answered this time. What about the animals? What animals? The girls asked, turning only her head to look at Naruto. Naruto made a face, seeing the little girl's head turned 180 degrees. Never mind. Naruto shook his head and looked at Itachi. Itachi stayed silent the whole time, so it started to worry Naruto a bit. But seeing that Itachi had his Sharingan still activated and was looking at the children meant that he was on guard. Kit, I smell death. All over the place. It's been a long time since I smelled this much death, the Kyuubi said. I can feel people looking at us. It's disturbing. They know I know they are here. And I know Itachi also knows that they're dead people looking at us and following us. Should we call these the walking dead? Naruto laughed inwardly and shook his head. This is no time to be joking around. Be on your guard just like Uchiha. Nah. Naruto, the Uchiha won't always be next to you. And with that, Naruto was silent. Itachi felt the air change and looked at Naruto. His beiges covered his eyes and Itachi noticed that he saw the tip of a fang in between Naruto's lip. Shit, he's depressed. Itachi told himself. With Sasuke. It's been a whole entire day since he encountered Naruto and Itachi, and he was not in a good mood. He had found the object he needed and went back to Orochimaru's lair. Sasuke was in front of Orochimaru's door and had the object in a small bag. The door opened and he entered. There, in the middle of the room, was Orochimaru and Kabuto, waiting for him.
Ah, Sasuke-kun.
Orochimaru smiled to Sasuke, who just glared. Shihi. Why giving me the Uchiha death glare? Sasuke ignored Orochimaru's question and gave him the object. He was just about to go back out when Karuto stopped him. Don't you want to know what this globe does? Why would I want to know? You can see your precious Naruto-kun. Kabuto smirked. Nan. He will see him soon, Orochimaru said. Huh? Kabuto asked. Did you forget who he is? Orochimaru hissed. No, I haven't. Then Sasuke-kun, you may leave, Orochimaru ordered. HN. Sasuke left the room without another word. It looked like he was mad, Kabuto said, adjusting his glasses. Indeed. Let's look what happened to make him mad. Orochimaru smirked and took out the globe from the small bag. With Sakura. I don't get it how the Hokage can be more worried about that idiot than Sasuke-kun. I mean, Sasuke-kun is way smarter than him and he is way hotter. I just don't get how she sent me after the idiot. She should have sent me after Sasuke-kun. Well, anyways, tomorrow I'm going to go to the Hokage and ask her if I can go after Sasuke-kun. With Naruto and Itachi. They've arrived to the mountain and were now deep inside it. Naruto hadn't said a word nor did anything to catch the raven's attention. We have arrived, the two children said, stopping in front of a big double door. They swung open and revealed a big room with just a candle in the middle of the room. Itachi noticed the two children had fallen onto the ground and laid there. He was about to do something, then remembered they were children. Hee, how a coincidence. I get to have a god's power and the eyes of an Uchiha. A deep voice echoed through the room. The door closed back and Naruto finally looked up. His eyes were empty. It had no sparkle in them, even though they were blood red with cat pupils. Since when did you think you could get a god's power? Naruto asked unemotionally. Since when? When the god's power is in a mortal body, we can extract the power and have it to ourself. The voice beamed through the room like a drum. Suddenly bodies came charging towards Naruto and Itachi. Itachi burnt all of them that were coming towards him and Naruto froze them all. And who are you? Naruto asked, pointing his fan towards the very back of the room behind the candle. You don't have that wrenching smell of death, nor do you smell like a living thing. So I'm guessing you are normally a weakling demon that needs chakra or a human that wanted power and now is a piece of shit that has no particular form. Itachi wanted to activate his Sharingan, but he already felt like almost half of his chakra was gone just because he was on guard when they were following the children. Oh, look what we have here? A smart mortal. Well, you are right, I was a mortal, but now I am a weak demon that needs chakra. You really are stupid, Naruto said. Don't you dare call me stupid, you low life, the so-called demon roared. You will not talk to me like that either, Naruto yelled back. He released some of his chakra and suddenly he had golden/orange ears and 9 tails. He blasted some of his chakra he released towards the demon, and the room exploded. Chapter 8/ With Orochimaru. Shihi. Look what we have here. What a rare thing. I've never heard nor saw something like this, Orochimaru said. Can it really exist? A mortal turning into a demon by just merging with a demon, Kabuto said, looking at the small round object. Shihihi. Have you forgotten that Naruto is an Uzumaki and is the 4th Hokage's son? No, but I never thought dash. Uzumakis have an extraordinary strength. They are true beauty. What about the Uchiha clan? They are stronger than the Uzumaki clan. Look at Sasuke, he beat Naruto-kun. No, you're wrong. When Sasuke-kun was fighting Naruto, he pretended to be beaten by Sasuke-kun because Itachi told Naruto to look after Sasuke. So Naruto made Sasuke think that he's weak. He didn't want Sasuke to know he was stronger than him and that he was trained by his own brother. And Sasuke might be physically strong, but mentally, he's messed up just by one little thing. The death of his clan. The killer is his brother, he once loved and wanted to be just like him. While Naruto-kun has the memories of every fight the Kyuubi was in. All the killing and all the tortures. All of that, he has those images in his mind. Not only that, but also the pain of the Kyuubi's chakra. It burns like hell, just like fire. Also, the intense feeling of killing, the obsession of power, the obsession of torturing people. And the darkness. Orochimaru said, watching the small round object. With Itachi and Naruto, in the light of the moon, stood a smile with 6 legs. Impressive mortal. That's some dark chakra you are using. The monster said. Shut the fuck up. I am no mortal. And I am not using some god's power. This is my chakra. Naruto said. Itachi stood on a tree branch looking at Naruto. Sharingan activated. This Naruto was scary. But Itachi knew that the Ri was something worse than this. But he didn't want to think about that. That Naruto could be truly scary and bloodthirsty. But sadly, it's written in the chakra. Naruto is becoming more like his true self. Naruto-kun, stop! Itachi yelled when he saw Naruto taking out one of his fans and the sky started to change. Naruto froze hearing the voice of Itachi. Suddenly the monster screamed. And Naruto grinned sadistically. What did you do? You fucking mortal! The monster yelled. His body thrashing. My chakra is like fire. The fire in hell. I also threw some poison on you, so when you try to heal your self, the poison spreads faster because of the chakra. Naruto said, calming down. His tails disappeared but his ears were still there. He looked at Itachi and nodded. Itachi got the message and looked at the monster who was now wildly twitching and cursing. He jumped down from the branch and walked to the monster. Uchiha Itachi, the monster said. Looking at Itachi was a mistake because Itachi put him in a genjutsu where he was being tortured mentally. Itachi moved out of the way so that Naruto could have his sadistic moment, chopping the monster into pieces. Itachi looked in all the places when the monster could have had hidden the scroll. The scroll where it's written how to control the dead people. /N. Not like in the book though. I'm going to have many ways to control the dead though. When he found the scroll, Naruto had finished his sadistic session and was now playing with all the dead bodies that the monster had used for his puppets.
Naruto-kun.
Quit playing with the dead bodies and let's go, Itachi said. When Naruto turned around, Itachi felt like hitting him. He was drenched in blood. His yukata was now red and he had the smell of blood. Go wash yourself before. Naruto looked at Itachi with a case-stoning look but then realized that he was drenched in blood. The next day at Konoha, Sakura knocked at the Hokage's office. She heard a feint come in, and she entered the office.
Hello Tsunade-sama.
Sakura said in her cheerful voice.
Oh, Isakura.
The Hokage said without looking Uo from her paper. By the looks on the Hokage's face, Sakura thought that she must have cried or just having a hangover from drinking too much sake. Hokage-sama, I've been wondering something. Go ahead, ask. It's about Naruto. By mentioning Naruto, Tsunade looked at Sakura. Yes, what about him? Asterisk. Tsunade said in a monotone voice. Sakura flinched when she heard the Hokage's voice. Well, I mean, why did you send us after Naruto? He's mean and he doesn't know anything. Why haven't you sent us after Sasuke-kun? Sakura asked, raising his voice a bit at the end. Sakura, the Hokage said, standing up, went to Sakura and slapped her. Sakura stood there stunned. No one have ever slapped her. What was worse is that it was the Hokage that slapped her. Do you know who made me become the Hokage?
No.
Sakura answered, looking at the floor. He made a bet. If he doesn't make a perfect Rasengan at the end of a week, I won't take the next title of Hokage. But when he went against Kabuto, he won. He made a perfect Rasengan. It took Jiraiya and the 4th Hokage weeks, months to learn how to make it. but Naruto made it in a week. Sakura didn't know that the blue orb that Naruto kept making was in fact used by one of the legendary Sannin and the fourth Hokage that defeated the Kyuubi. Do you know whose son Naruto is?
No.
He never had parents, from what I heard. That's why people don't like him. Wrong, Tsunade yelled. He is the fourth Hokage's son. He is the last Uzumaki left. And the villagers don't hate him because he doesn't have any parents. It's because he have the Kyuubi inside of him. The villagers thought it was him that brought the Kyuubi to the village. But he was a goddamn newborn. He couldn't do anything. And your goddamn Sasuke is nothing compared to him. When Sasuke was fighting Naruto, he pretended to be beat 10 by Sasuke because Itachi told Naruto to look after Sasuke. So Naruto made Sasuke think that he's weak. He didn't want Sasuke to know he was stronger than him and that he was trained by his own brother. And Sasuke might be physically strong, but mentally, he's messed up just by one little thing. The death of his clan. The killer is his brother. The one he once loved and wanted to be just like him. While Naruto-kun has the memories of every fight the Kyuubi was in. All the killing and all the tortures. All of that, he has those images in his mind. Not only that, but also the pain of the Kyuubi's chakra. It burns like hell, just like fire. Also, the intense feeling of killing, the obsession of power, the obsession of torturing people. And the scariest thing ever, darkness. But Naruto kept a mask on, pretending he was stupid, weak. You should have seen him when he was with Itachi in the village. He was happy. Sakura was shocked of what the Hokage had just said. Never she had thought of that. Now get out. Yes, Hokage-sama. Sakura quickly getting out of the office. A few days later with Itachi and Naruto. Once back at the Akatsuki hideout, they gave Pain the scroll. Naruto and Itachi went to their rooms. Naruto sat on his bed thinking what he should do. He thought for a while and then had an idea to see his uncle. He summoned Himawari again. Yes, my lord, the small fox asked. I want to see my dear uncle. Please go tell him I'll be waiting for him at the end of the valley, Naruto said. Yes, my lord. And the small brown fox disappeared. Naruto smirked and laid back. Now I just have to wait for 3 hours, then I need to get going, Naruto said, falling asleep. With the fox. Himawari was running in the forest of the Sound Country, looking for Orochimaru's hideout. It's been an hour since he left the Akatsuki base. Yes, foxes are fast runners. When he found the entrance, he entered, making sure no one saw him. With Orochimaru and Karuto. Oh look, we have a visitor. Go fetch Sasuke-kun, Orochimaru said, smiling. Yes. Kabuto left the room and fetched Sasuke, while Orochimaru went to greet their visitor. In front of the door was a small brown fox.
Orochimaru-sama.
The brown fox bowed. Komein, Orochimaru said, opening the door wider, letting in the fox. Sasuke and Kabuto arrived just when the fox set himself in a comfortable position to talk to them. What do you want? Sasuke asked, narrowing his eyes, seeing the fox. That's not the way to talk to your senpais, Hamine, the fox said. Sasuke glared at the fox. I can do whatever I want. I can kill you right here, right now, Sasuke said. The fox growled. Lo Hamine, I never liked you Uchihas, the fox said. Except for Itachi, Orochimaru said. Sasuke froze. He's special. He's my lord's favorite, the fox said. What do you know about my brother? All he is a murderer, Sasuke yelled. Ah, looks like he doesn't know. Why didn't you tell him? The fox asked Orochimaru. Because. Ah, right, I forgot. You creep, the fox said. Orochimaru shrugged. Your brother is kind. Too kind for my liking. He's different than the other Uchihas. Sasuke got mad and was about to use Chidori on the fox, but then he felt a blast of chakra and Orochimaru and Kabuto held Sasuke down. Sasuke looked at the fox. The blast of chakra was scary, even darker than his. Sasuke, you can't do anything about him, Orochimaru said. Why? Sasuke said, glaring at Orochimaru. Because he's one of the summoning foxes that are legendary and only oboist to one person. Sasuke had never heard of legendary foxes nor that they listened to only one person. Summoning foxes? Oboist to one person? Who do they only listen to? Sasuke asked. That is none of your concerns, the fox growled. He's one of your lord's friend, Orochimaru said. His only friends are Haku, Zabuza, the whole Akatsuki and us foxes. He has no other friends. He is Itachi Uchiha's little brother, Kabuto said. Ah. The one that seeks revenge, the fox said. Yes, Orochimaru said. Very well then, my lord wishes to see you. Orochimaru smirked and Kabuto smiled. It's been a long time since I've seen that kid like himself, Orochimaru said. Kabuto nodded and said, yeah, it will be a great thing to see him. We can also get answers. Where do we meet him? Orochimaru said. The end of the valley, the fox said. Perfect. You're coming with us. They left with one question in Sasuke's mind. Who are they talking about? With Naruto. Naruto woke up and shook his head to clear a bit of his sleepiness and looked around him. He estimated that it was time to leave, so he walked out of his room and left the Akatsuki base. He looked back and simlied. Then he left. A few hours later, at the end of the valley, Naruto arrived at the valley and didn't see his uncle nor Himawari. He sighed and sat down next to a tree. Suddenly he felt a familiar chakra. He knew it wasn't his uncle or anyone like that, it was Itachi. Why did you follow me? Your brother is going to be there, Naruto said to the raven sighting on the tree branch right next to him. The raven croaked and flapped its wings. Naruto sighed again and shook his head. You really are annoying, Naruto said, smiling. With Orochimaru. They have arrived at the valley and the fox had stopped on one of the statues. What is it? Is he here? Orochimaru asked. Yes, he is here, Himawari said and jumped down onto the water. Orochimaru, Kabuto, and Sasuke followed the fox. The fox started to run near the trees with the three behind him. The fox had stopped right next to a tree and waited for the others to catch up. When the three S-class missing Nins had caught up, the fowl howled. Good work, Himawari. You may go, said a familiar voice. Everyone turned to the voice. Orochimaru and Kabuto smiled and Sasuke had his mouth wide open. There stood a red head, in a ponytail, Naruto in an Akatsuki cloak, a navy blue/origami yukata, and a raven on his shoulder. Thank you, my lord. It's been a pleasure to be serving you. The fox bowed then disappeared.
Naruto-kun.
It's a pleasure to see you again, Kabuto said. Naruto looked at Kabuto and gave him a small smile. Nice to see you too, Kabuto. It's been a long time since we've talked like this, Naruto said.
Naruto-kun.
Orochimaru said. Naruto snapped his head towards Orochimaru and gave him a scared smile.
Oru-kun.
Naruto said. Do you mind telling me why you joined the Akatsuki? Orochimaru yelled. Shut up, you old guesser. I should be asking why you left the Akatsuki with your damn ring. Wait, don't answer that. Someone told me already why, Naruto yelled back. Don't you dare talk like that to your elders, Orochimaru yelled back. I can, and I can't call you my elder. You're my damn uncle, so I can call you anything I want, Naruto said. Ah. Orochimaru trailed off, lost of words. Kabuto chuckled and shook his head. You two never change, he said, laughing harder. Kabuto, shut up. Both of them said in the same time, which was on a scary tone. Then the raven on Naruto's should flew to Sasuke and landed on his head. Finally, Naruto looked at Sasuke. Sasuke, Naruto greeted, nodding his head. Sasuke was too shocked to answer, so Naruto sighed and looked at the raven. Come back here. he told the raven. The raven shook its head. Now, the raven shook his head again. Please, shook his head again. Can you please come back here now? Naruto asked, but the raven shook its head again. Looks like a smart raven you got there, Orochimaru said smirking. Naruto rolled his eyes. Please, I know you know who he is, Naruto said. Naruto sighed again, knowing what Itachi wanted him to say. Okay fine. If that's how you want it then fine, Naruto said. Itachi, please come back here. And with that, the raven flew back to Naruto and nuzzled his head on Naruto's cheek. Automatically, Naruto brought up his hand towards the head of the raven and started stroking his head. By the name of Itachi, Sasuke snapped out of his shocking mode and looked all around him, spotting a raven nuzzling Naruto's cheek and Naruto stroking his head. That was a nice way to make his snap out of his shocking mode, Orochimaru said, nodding. He has more emotions when he's a raven. How interesting, Kabuto said. Nah, he's the same when he's a raven. It's just that he's more like himself when he's around me for some reasons, Naruto said. Naruto, did you just call that raven Itachi? Sasuke asked. Naruto looked at Sasuke and furrowed his eyebrows.
No, Sasuke.
I did not call this raven Itachi. His name is Itachi. Sasuke got mad and activated his Chidori. But suddenly Orochimaru and Kabuto stopped him. Why are you stopping me? Sasuke yelled. Make him shut up. He's going to make a traction, Naruto hissed. Sasuke, calm down and we are going to explain you this, Itachi said, forming back to his original form. How can I calm down? You are here. You killed our whole entire clan, Sasuke yelled. If you clam down, I will tell you why I fucking killed the whole clan, Itachi hissed. There's no reason why, Sasuke hissed back. Sasuke, there's a reason. The everything, Naruto said. You shut up. You don't know anything, Sasuke spat to Naruto. Naruto got mad and ran up the Sasuke, pinning him to a tree. Sasuke flinched and looked at Naruto, about to yell at him, but soon froze due to Naruto's look. His eyes were blood red. His scars like whiskers darkened and his chakra could be felt and it was burning him. The one that should shut up is you, Sasuke. You don't know what happened that day. You weren't there. But you know who was there? Me. So I know what happened. And you cannot say anything else because I've seen worse than you. And if you want to know what could be worse than seeing your damn parents and clan being slaughtered in front of your eyes, then listen to this damn conversation we're going to have. That's why Orochimaru-sama brought you with him, Naruto said. Orochimaru and Kabuto was looking at Sasuke, wondering what he was going to do. That's enough, Naruto-kun. Let him go, Itachi said, appearing, bang Naruto and pulling him off of Sasuke. Naruto grumbled and crossed his arms. Now will you listen to what we've got to say? Orochimaru asked. Sasuke, still shocked of what just happened, nodded. Good. Let's go into the cave. I can smell people coming, Naruto said. Itachi let go of Naruto and started to wackle towards the waterfall. Naruto, Orochimaru, Kabuto and Sasuke followed Itachi. The cave was behind the waterfall, so they had to get wet in order to get in. No one would ever expect it to have a cave right bang the waterfall, so it was a place where you could be sure to not be disturbed. Itachi, Naruto said, shivering a bit. Everyone looked at the two. Itachi rolled his eyes and sat down. Naruto smiled and also sat down, but on Itachi's lap. Sasuke's mouth dropped open. Orochimaru rolled his eyes and sat down next to them. You say I didn't change, look at them too. They haven't changed a bit, Orochimaru said to Kabuto. Yeah, Kabuto said, sitting across of Itachi and Naruto, who were now doing a silent conversation with each other.
Sit down, Sasuke-kun,
Orochimaru said. Sasuke did what he was told and waited. Now, where should we start off? Naruto asked. By the Uchiha incidents, Itachi said directly. Chapter 9. Somewhere in the forest near the Valley of the End, for ninjas were looking for something. I told ya it came from over there, said the oldest ninja. Are you kidding? Came from over there. I saw it with my own eyes, said another one. Are you guys stupid or what? It came from the waterfall, said the third one. Ugh, you all are going to make my head hurt, said the first one. The three of them looked at each other, then at the fourth member of their group. Where do you think it came from? They all asked him. I think it came from over there, he said, pointing to the side of the waterfall. Ah, I told you guys it came from the waterfall, the third said. Shut up. It didn't come from the waterfall. It came from the forest next to the waterfall, the fourth ninja said. Still the same. The four ninjas ran to the waterfall after their little discussion. At the waterfall with Naruto, Itachi, and the three snake users. Right, so the Uchiha massacre, Naruto said. We should start off by the beginning. He looked at Sasuke, who nodded, then he shoved Itachi to get an answer out of him, who only snaked his arms around Naruto and squeezed him a bit. Right, I'll take that as a yes, Naruto said, leaning back on the man's chest. Seeing this action, Sasuke was a bit jealous of Naruto and of Itachi. Orochimaru sighed and shook his head. Kabuto only cleared his throat. Yeah, so anyways, it started by two friends. They were best friends. They didn't know that their families hated each other. But eventually, their parents told them to kill their friend, and when they met up with each other at their usual spot, they threw a rock to each other, written on the bottom to run away, but their father and brothers were there and they fought. A couple of years after, they were at war again. This time they fought each other. And at the end they pretended that nothing happened. Did I tell you that one of those two friends was an Uchiha? No, I didn't tell you. Well, now you know. So anyways, the one that was Hokage, he was not the Uchiha guy, thought that they could be in peace again. But no. The Uchiha that we are talking about was also Dash. Suddenly Naruto stopped talking. Everyone looked at Naruto, wondering why he stopped talking. Sasuke examined Naruto's face. It was like he was disturbed or something like that. And once again, he saw Itachi squeezing Naruto around the waist. There is four people around here. I don't like them. I don't like them at all, he hissed. Why? Kabuto asked. Why, you ask? Can't you tell who they are? Naruto, we cannot feel other people's chakra like you can. Arg. They're from Konoha, Naruto growled. What? You hate Konoha? Sasuke asked, which he only got a glare from Naruto and Itachi. But the last time I remember was you all being, I want to be Hokage, thing with that bright orange jumpsuit, he said, looking at Naruto. Naruto chuckled and shook his head. Foolish little brother. That was all an act I told him to do, Itachi said. What? Itachi sighed. We knew each other from the start. This time Naruto answered. All of us, me, Itachi, Orochimaru, Kabuto, we knew each other from the start. Well, anyways, back to the Uchiha story shit thing. So the Uchiha we're talking about is Madara. Now you must have seen their statues in front of the waterfall. Yes, that's them. Well, anyways, Madara used to control the Kyuubi. And they thought and they died. A couple of years later, on the 10th of October, the Kyuubi attacked Konoha. The fourth went against a man named Uchiha Madara, so he sent a report to the third Hokage telling him that Uchiha Madara is back. He was the one who was controlling the Kyuubi, but no one in the village know that Uchiha Madara, or his proper name Uchiha Obito, one of Kakashi's old teammate and one of the fourth Hokage apprentice. Just like the three legendary Sannin. Yes, Orochimaru was one of my dad's shitty apprentice. And so the fourth Hokage died, sealing the Kyuubi in a newborn baby. Me. Because I was born that day at the moment. You pie. The fucking villagers thought I have brought the damn Kyuubi to the damn village when I couldn't do a damn thing. The fucking stupid. Well, anyways, and that's when a couple of years later the third asked Itachi to kill his clan because the Uchihas had become more and more powerful and he knew there was going to be a war concerning the Kyuubi. And also he knew that the man that my father was going up against was named Uchiha Madara. Well, anyways, so Itachi asked if he can spare your life and the Hokage said yes. The night he killed his clan he cried a lot. I mean, that was the first time I ever saw him cry and he cried a lot. Yes, I was there when the Hokage told him to kill his clan. And he came running to me after he killed his clan. Naruto said, looking at the floor, not making eye contact with anyone. Itachi had his head pressed against Naruto's back and was hugging the blonde, so they couldn't see how he felt. Orochimaru and Kabuto was looking at the two like nothing of that was shocking. But they were shocked, they were scocked because they never knew that Itachi had run to Naruto right after he killed his clan. Sasuke was shocked too. He didn't think that his brother had been on a mission, but it was for his sake and the village, so he couldn't have a grudge on anything anymore. At the Valley of the End, the 4 ninjas had arrived. Search all over the place. Remember, when you found someone, capture them and ask them if they were the one who had that killing chakra feeling that anybody could feel. The leader said, right. The other 3 said, going separate directions. They all looked near the place the feeling came from. With Naruto, Itachi, and the 3 snake users. Now that that's explained, you have to answer some questions, young man. Orochimaru said, crossing his arms and leaned back on to the wall of the cave. What is it? Naruto asked, raising his head, looking at Orochimaru. Why did you leave Konoha? Kabuto asked. I left Konoha because I was annoyed by them, and I hate Konoha, Naruto answered, holding Itachi's hands in his. Why? They gave you an apartment, they gave you food, and let you in the academy, Orochimaru said. Yeah, they did give me those, but did you see my apartment? Do you know what they gave me as food? And yes, I went to the academy, but they kept giving me bad grades. That's why people called me dead last, because those stupid shitty head kept putting me bad grades and made me retake that shitty thing. But they perfectly knew that I was fucking stronger than them, but they felt safe since I had the seal of the 4th Hokage on me. But they sold know what they eat first. Naruto spat, his eyes glowing a bit redder in the dark. Feeling Naruto getting mad and what he said, Itachi raised his head up and put it on Naruto's shoulder. Naruto, calm down. Did you put poison in their food? Itachi growled a bit in Naruto's ear. Naruto shivered and became stiff. No, I didn't put poison in it. I just put stuff that made them sick, he answered. Okay. Why did you join the Akatsuki? Orochimaru asked. Well, because you were in it. And Itachi is in the Akatsuki, Naruto said, grinning a bit. Orochimaru nodded. Ah, and since when did you merge with the Kyuubi? Kabuto asked. Naruto said, thinking a bit. A few days after he joined the Akatsuki, Itachi said. There was a pause. How do you know all of this? I mean, how did you know Naruto had merged with the Kyuubi? Sasuke said after a while. Ah, well, it's very simple. His eyes are red now, not blue anymore, and his whiskers scars are darker and thicker. He is not human anymore. He is a demon, Orochimaru said, smiling. But that's impossible. A Hamine becoming a demon, Kabuto said with his eyes wide open. It's true. I am a demon. It took hours for me to merge with Kurama's chakra because I was also changing into a demon, Naruto said, shrugging. Oh, and Kurama is the Kyuubi's name. Now that they know what you are, you can take down that seal you have put up around you, Itachi said. Fine, but I'm not breaking the one that seals my chakra, Naruto said, pouting a bit. HN. Naruto did a hand sing and closed his eyes. There was a blast of chakra and a barrier around Naruto became visible and it started to burn away like paper. Suddenly orang/red ears poked out of Naruto's head, replacing his Hamine ears, and an orange/red tail poked out. His canines became visible in between his thin lips, and finally he opened his eyes and they were a gold color. Itachi, stop playing with my tail, Naruto growled. Everyone looked at Itachi, and there was Itachi playing with Naruto's twitching tail. HN, he answered. TCH. Naruto clicked his tongue when he felt that Itachi didn't stop. So he pulled his tail away from Itachi and slapped him with his tail on his face. Orochimaru chuckled. And there's question I was wanting to ask you. When did you make a contract with the foxes? Kabuto asked. Not too long after Itachi had left the village, Naruto said, biting his bottom lip. But you didn't summon one when you went against Gaara. Well, because I didn't want the villagers putting me in prison, restaining my chakra. And also I knew I was going to see Itachi soon, so I wanted to keep secret. For the moment, Naruto said, smiling to himself. I haven't asked you this question yet, but did you keep your mask up when you were fighting my little brother? Itachi asked. Oh, I was waiting for you to ask that question. In fact, I was holding myself in to punch the crap out of him. And there was this other time I really felt like hitting his face in front of everyone. And the first time we met, I really felt like throwing him across the school's yard, but then they would think the QB came out and were going to have to kill me, Naruto said, looking up at Itachi. Sasuke had his mouth wide open when he heard Naruto wanting to punch the crap out of him. Wait, you wanted to throw me across the school's yard? Sasuke asked. Yup, but I kept thinking of what Itachi told me. Keep your mask up even if Sasuke insults you. Keep your mask up when you are sparring with him or in the exam. I don't want you to be killed or be in prison. That makes me laugh every time, Naruto said. Sasuke nodded and looked at his brother. He did stay the same after all, he thought, smiling. I like the way you are now than before, Sasuke said. Sasuke, he was always like this. He just pretended to be stupid. And he wore that orange jumpsuit because that's the only thing the villagers gave him, Itachi said. Tuesday, but he did change a bit though. You seem more mature and you know a lot more stuff than all of us, Orochimaru said. Yeah, I created some of my jutsus. I created a lot of seals. Oh, and talking about seals, I still haven't figured out to take it off, Naruto said, rolling up his sleeve, revealing a fire-like tattoo on his upper arm. I thought you would have figured it out by now, Orochimaru frowned. But you still broke the first and second step of it. Yeah. But the third one is annoying me. Even Itachi tried to break it. He doesn't like it, Naruto said. Wait, since when did you have that seal? Sasuke asked. I had this one since the exam in the Forest of Death, or whatever the forest is called, Naruto answered. Sasuke said, looking at the seal. Hey Kabuto, I've been craving for some blood these days. What should I do? Kabuto raised an eyebrow and raised his glasses back up. Well, since you are a demon, I don't really know. What do you mean by craving for blood? Kabuto said. Well, how do you put this in words? Naruto thought. He's been craving blood, meaning he wants to see blood, smell blood, and I think taste it? Itachi said, looking down at Naruto. Yeah, that's right, Naruto said. Well then, maybe I can give you pills of blood. Or you could go hunting during the night. But if I were you, wait, do you crave humine blood or animal blood? Humine, Naruto said, looking down. I think it's the fact that people called you a demon and stuff like that you were traumatized and you felt the urge of killing them, hear their cries of pain and smell their blood, Orochimaru said. Naruto stayed silent and looked at the ground, his ears flat backwards on his head. Seeing this, Itachi tightened his grip on Naruto. That might be the reason, and the reason why Itachi was the first person I ever loved. Because he was the first one that ever accepted me, Naruto said, smiling. Then it was you, Orochimaru, Kabuto, and then it was the others, but I knew that they didn't know that I was the vessel of the nine-tailed fox. How did you meet my brother? Sasuke asked. Oh, I met him when he was walking in the village and I was getting beaten by some villagers. He saved me. Then he took me to the Uchiha household and treated my wounds. Then he asked me who I was and why the villagers were beating me up. I told him my name and that people kept calling me a monster. Then he looked at me, then he said that I looked like the fourth Hokage. He then figured out that I was the fourth Hokage's son, and that I was the vessel of the nine-tailed fox. And since that day he decided to train me. I was really happy. He also told me that he had a younger brother. And then that's when he told me about you. And then a couple of months after, that's when he had the mission. After he left, I felt empty. But then I went into the forest, and that's when I met Orochimaru and Kabuto. Naruto said, looking at Sasuke with a small smile. Sasuke nodded and crossed his arms. Sasuke was about to ask another question, but then Naruto bolted up. He did some hand seals and his ears and tail disappeared. Naruto-kun, what's the matter? Orochimaru asked, standing up. Itachi, him just stood up and looked where Naruto was looking. They found us. They are trying to breaking the barrier. Naruto said, narrowing his eyes. With the 4 Konoha ninjas. Hey guys, come to the waterfall. I found something interesting, said the leader of the small group by telepathy. The 3 other Konoha nins arrived in front of the waterfall. What is it? The youngest ninja asked. There's a barrier, and a strong one, the leader said. Okay, this is a barrier where we need 4 people making the hand seal number 124 of Forbidden Seals, which we are 4, so it's fine. The 3 other ninjas nodded and prepared themselves. Chapter 10. The 4 ninjas had broken the seal and were about to enter the cave but suddenly froze when they saw a figure behind the water. They all gasped at the figure that just emerged from the waterfall. Uchiha Itachi. Uchiha Itachi. S-rank criminals on the criminal booklet Missing Ninja. Part of the ANBU captain at the age of 13 and killed his clan except for Sasuke. The eldest ninja said. Itachi looked at the ninja that just talked. Asuma, he said. Did you just say Sasuke? He's the one that killed Sasuke's family. The girl at Asuma's right. Yup, that's him, all right. I know those eyes, said a familiar voice. Kakashi, Itachi said. What a coincidence that we meet here again, Asuma said. Kakashi, is he talking about the time you were under Genjutsu? The 4th ninja asked. Yes, Irika, Kakashi nodded. I do not wish to fight you, but this is what Naruto-kun asked me to do, so I will do it, Itachi said, and activated his Mangekyo Sharingan. Before they could do anything, they fell under his Genjutsu. With Naruto, Orochi, Kabuto, and Sasuke. I think Itachi could handle them, Naruto muttered.
Sasuke-kun.
Orochimaru said, turning towards Sasuke. Sasuke looked at Orochimaru with a questioning look. I have taught you everything I know. You can do whatever you like, Orochimaru said proudly. Naruto gaped. Weren't you after his power and body? He asked. Yes, I was after that, but then I saw how strong Sasuke is, and I don't think I would be able to handle it. Ah. Itachi came back into the cave, dragging for bodies. Back already? Naruto asked, but Itachi just glared at him. He laughed. Who do we have here? Naruto went towards Itachi and raised his eyebrows. Asuma, Kurenai, Kakashi, and Irika, Kabuto said, raising his glasses back up. How nice of them to come here, Naruto said, taking out one of his fans and tapped it on his chin. Naruto, don't you still feel something for Irika? Sasuke asked. Nah, I don't. He hated me at a point too. But then he loved me. But I knew that that wasn't true. I can feel it in his soul. I cannot see them, but I can feel, Naruto said, pulling his Akatsuki cloak on tighter. Ah. Orochi, Naruto said, snapping his head towards him. Yes, Naruto-kun. Tie these 4 people up, please. he said, jerking his head towards the Konoha ninjas. Orochimaru nodded and tied them up with his snakes. We need to go, Orochimaru said after.
Okay.
You can go, Naruto said without looking at them.
Sasuke-kun.
Orochimaru said, heading towards the entrance of the cave. I need to talk to you. Sasuke nodded and walked out with Orochimaru and Kabuto. Naruto and Itachi stayed in the cave to watch the four ninjas. With Sasuke, Orochimaru and Kabuto. Now Sasuke-kun, Orochimaru said once out of the cave and hidden in the forest. Like I told you, I have taught you everything. You can do anything. What will you do? I don't know. I want to join the Akatsuki, Sasuke said. But why? Naruto just joined the Akatsuki and your brother is in it. Kabuto said. Don't you hate him? I used to, but not anymore, Sasuke shrugged. But you could also train under your brother. He can teach you many things about the Sharingan, while Naruto-kun can teach you about Senjutsu and seals. He still has problems controlling his chakra though. You could help him since you have a perfect control of your chakra, Orochimaru said. I thought I could do whatever I want, Sasuke said, glaring at Orochimaru. Right? You can, but I just said that you could do. Whatever. Sasuke walked away, back towards the cave. Back with Naruto and Itachi. Tachi, Naruto said, looking at the four ninjas that were suffering. Itachi asked, raising an eyebrow. Sop the Genjutsu. You pity them? Naruto's eyes narrowed.
No.
I want them to wake up because I want to talk to them. Itachi stopped the Genjutsu and sat down next to Naruto. They stayed in silence for a while until someone's stomach growled. Itachi and Naruto looked at each other.
I'm hungry.
Naruto stated bluntly. Well then, if you're hungry, then just go get something to eat. Is that too hard? A voice said from the entrance of the cave. Naruto rolled his eyes and pouted. I know what to do, Naruto said. Sasuke walked in farther into the cave towards Naruto and Itachi, but stopped 5 feet away from Itachi. Brother, Naruto, I want to join the Akatsuki, Sasuke stated. Naruto gagged as Itachi's eyes widened. Why? Naruto asked, taking off his eyes, the 4 Konoha ninjas, to look at Sasuke. Because I want to. You can't just enter the Akatsuki like that. How do you know? You did nothing horrible and you entered the Akatsuki. So why not me? I have the Kyuubi in me. I merged with it. I gave myself to them. /N. This sounds wrong, but I have nothing else to say. So, why not have another Uchiha in the Akatsuki? We don't need that, Naruto said sharply. Naruto, it's not you that get to choose who enters the Akatsuki, and I think he will let my little brother in since he is really strong and he's the only one that can beat me, Itachi said. Wadash. Naruto, it's not your decision. Whatever, Naruto said, rolling his eyes, and started to play with his fan. Naruto, Itachi, and Sasuke stayed silent for a while until Naruto took out a scroll. What are you doing? Sasuke asked. I'm going to send a little thing to the Hokage, Naruto replied, summoning a brush. Why? Look, it has nothing to do with you. Naruto scribbled down something on the scroll and put a paper bomb at the end. A few minutes later, Irika woke up. Where? Irika started but suddenly remembered what happened and jolted up to see his worst nightmare. Naruto? He yelled, looking everywhere until his gaze landed on him. Naruto smirked. Hello, Irika, he said. Sasuke? Itachi. Both brothers said. You know, Kakashi, you can stop pretending to be still unconscious, Sasuke said. Kakashi opened his one visible eye. He looked at Sasuke, then Itachi, and finally Naruto. He didn't say a word. Asuma, I saw you open your eye, Naruto said, crossing his arms. Asuma scared and looked at Naruto. Now the only one that is left is Ku-Dash. She's awake too, Naruto. Sasuke rolled his eyes. Right, so everyone is awake, Naruto said, ignoring the annoyance getting to him of Sasuke's attitude. Naruto, why did you left the village? Irika asked, looking at him with a sad face. My Irika, do you feel sad? Because I don't feel sad leaving the village, Naruto said with a smudged look on his face. Why? Naruto snorted and shook his head. What do you think? You left the village because you were annoyed by the villagers, Kakashi said. Ah, finally someone that understands, Naruto said, clapping his hands. But why? We gave you everything you needed. I know almost all the villagers treated you badly. But don't forget people in the village love you, Irika almost yelled. I know, but only 3 people. What do you mean 3 people? After Itachi left, there was only the Hokage, Hinata, and the 3rd. There's not only them but us too. And what about your friends? You don't love me, Irika. I know deep down you hate me because the Kyuubi killed your parents. I have no friends. They don't know I have the Kyuubi. Their parents will eventually tell them and they will be just like the others, Naruto said sharply. But I'm not going to kill you guys yet. But I have one thing I want you guys to do. He hands them the scroll. Give this to Tsunade. Sasuke, can you unbind them? Sasuke nodded and made the snakes unbind the 4 Konoha ninjas. Now go, Naruto said once they had taken the scroll from Naruto. You might regret this, Sasuke said once the 4 ninjas left quickly. Heh, like I'm going to. That scroll has something. Let's say that it's something they won't like. And once it gets to the Hokage, it will make me happy. He turns to Itachi. Bring Sasuke to Pain-sama. I'm going in to visit my fellow frogs. HN, Itachi said, getting up from where he was sitting. What? Where are you going? Sasuke asked, grabbing Naruto's arm. I'm going to the world of the summoning frogs, Naruto said with a straight face like it was something he did every day. How do you do that? Just be on a good term with the animals you made a contract with and just ask them to go to their world. And that's all. Yup, I'm pretty surprised that you didn't know. Well, I never thought that they have their own world. I lean to see through their eyes and sense what they are sensing, and I've gained speed and stuff like that. You're already strong with that Sharingan of yours, Sasuke. I know, but not as strong as you. Naruto laughed. Just because I've become a demon doesn't mean that I'm stronger than you. In some points, I am stronger than you. But in strategy, you're stronger than me. You have eyes that makes you powerful. You're better controlling your chakra, and to have the Sharingan needs a lot of chakra. And controlling it is really hard. Ever since I'm a demon, I have a lot of trouble of controlling it. One more thing. Don't forget Sasuke. You are and Uchiha, he said, pulling away from Sasuke, and left the cave. They stayed silent for a while until Itachi broke it. Let's go. HN. They ran until they arrived to the base, but something was off. They could feel the air changing, and it meant that someone strong, powerful, feared was fighting. But against who? They didn't know. All they knew was that the Akatsuki members weren't at the base anymore. Chapter 11. Naruto arrived in the Toad World. He looked around and smirked at himself. It's nice here, he muttered. What are you doing here? A voice asked from behind him. Oh, I'm just here to train for a year. A year here is a day in the real world, right? Heh, I take that as a yes. Naruto turned around and looked at the old toad. Hello, Gamabunta. Naruto Uzumaki, Why have you come to train here where you can train in the real world? And on top of that, you're with the Akatsuki. What? That old pervert didn't tell you anything? What do you mean? Nothing. Can I see Fukasaku now? If you think I'm not allowed to see him, then I'm just going to find him myself, Naruto said, jumping on a stone. You're not going anywhere, you traitor, Gamabunta yelled. He ran after Naruto, but Naruto was too quick. Gamabunta, stop! Someone yelled from behind. Gamabunta froze. He turned around and saw Fukasaku.
Fukasaku-sama.
Gamabunta said. What are you doing to Naruto? Fukasaku asked. I was going to capture this traitor. Naruto is no traitor. He is just doing what he wants to. But he dash. Gamabunta, you will learn everything at the end, Fukasaka said.
Naruto, come?
Yes. Naruto jumped down next to Fukasaka and bowed. No need to bow, young man. Yes. With Itachi and Sasuke. Brother, what's going on? Sasuke yelled. Shut up and let me think, Itachi hissed. He turned on his Sharingan and looked around him. It's Danzo. He's fighting with Pain-sama. Danzo, huh? Sasuke smirked. Well, it might be now or never. I want to finish him off. Don't. Hehe? Why? Do you know why Danzo has a bunch of bandages around his right and right eye?
No.
Because he has a bunch of Shanrigan eyes. He took them out of our ancestors and put in himself. Sasuke gauged. Sick. He's a sick man. HN. Itachi ran to the battlefield where Danzo and Pain were fighting. But before he could get to them, a member of Root jumped in front of him. You will not interrupt Danzo's fight with Pain, said. Itachi stared at the person, but suddenly he fell onto the ground. Sasuke, that was unnecessary. Itachi sighed. HN. Itachi and Sasuke arrived to the place where Danzo and Pain were fighting. Everyone else in the Akatsuki were all watching the fight while sitting on people from Root. Kasami, Itachi said, appearing next to Kisame. Oh, Itachi, you're back. You just arrived when the fun had started. But it's going to end soon. What's your brother doing here? He wants to join the Akatsuki. What? We don't need another emotionless Uchiha, and we already have that brat. We don't need a new member of the Akatsuki, Kisame yelled. Itachi kicked him and glared at him. It's not your choice. It's Pain's. All right.
Sorry.
Pain took a glance towards Itachi and saw Sasuke. He landed on a tree and looked straight ahead. Then he raised his hands.
No.
Everyone, retreat, Danzo yelled. People from Root jumped out of everywhere and retreated. Once they were far, Pain dropped his hands. Where is Uzumaki? He asked. I'll the Toad World to train, sir, Itachi answered. How long is he going to be there? A day, sir. What about your younger brother? He wants to join the Akatsuki, sir. HM. And why does he? Because I don't want to go back to Konoha, and I want to be trained under my brother, and I can train Naruto, Sasuke said. Pain looked at Sasuke for a moment, then nodded. You won't be part in the Akatsuki, but you can stay in the base and be trained by your brother, and I want you to also train Uzumaki because he has a poor control of his chakra. Yes, sir. Good. Pain turned around and headed back to the base. So he's Itachi's younger brother, someone said, stepping out of the woods. Yes, Deidara. HM, he kinda looks like a him, HN, Itachi said. Most of the Akatsuki went back to the base with Pain. Only Itachi, Kisame, and Sasuke were still there. Kisame, you will have to work all by yourself for a time. Until then I will be training Sasuke and I will be going on missions with Naruto. I don't mind working alone. And I have my sharks. HN. They kept silence until Kisame got up and headed to the base. You guys should be heading back, Kisame told them before he left. Itachi said, turning into a crow. Sasuke knew at that moment that he had to follow Itachi by air, so he summoned his hawk. When they arrived to the base, Itachi showed Sasuke his new room and where his and Naruto's are. So now Sasuke was there in his room. I should get some sleep, he thought. He lay in his bed and drifted off to sleep. It seemed too long after he fell asleep when he was woken up by an explosion and yells. Deidara! Someone roared. It wasn't me. I swear. Another person squeaked. Suddenly a door burst open and someone ran down the hall. Shut the hell up. Can't you tell people are trying to sleep here? Why don't you just go on a damned mission if you want to blow up stuff? The person yelled. He recognized that loud voice. It was Naruto's. The first person said.
¿Qué?
I can do whatever I want. I walked out of my room to see an angry Naruto, Sasori holding Deidara by the neck with his puppet hand.
¿Qué?
Can't all of you shut up? Sasuke said, leaning on his door frame. Naruto just glared at Sasuke but then sighed and walked back into his room without another word. We should do what he said, I don't want to be beaten up again. Deidara said, trying to break through Sasori's grip. Sasori looked at Deidara, then hit him on his head. Ow! Deidara said but quickly closed his mouth again when he saw Naruto's door open a bit. Sasuke sighed and went back into his room. Konoha. The team that Tsunade sent was back, but in a bad condition. Good. You may go, but go to the hospital first, she said, sighing, looking at the scroll laying on her desk. Yes, ma'am, they all said in union and disappeared. Once they had left, Tsunade quickly opened the scroll and smiled once she read the scroll. Dear Hokage, he said, yes. I will be never coming back. Please burn all of my belongings. Goodbye. She knew what this meant. She was lost in her thoughts that she didn't see the small bomb on the scroll. She snapped out of her thoughts when there was a small explosion. She looked around the room, alarmed. But then she spotted a small black spot on her desk where the scroll was. With Naruto. He had finally some quiet to himself. He was pressed against the door when he saw a piece of paper burning on the wall. He smiled to himself. At that moment, he knew that Tsunade had understood what he wanted to say, and that she had agreed. Now that is one thing off the list, he thought, and walked to his bed. He looked down at the small folded paper on his bed. He picked it up and unfolded. Tomorrow Mission. Chapter 12. Naruto flopped down on his bed and sighed. It was a long and hard year of training he just did, and he did not feel like doing anything. Suddenly there was a knock on his door. What? He asked, sitting up. The door creaked open and Itachi stood in the doorway. What is it, Tachi? Naruto asked, sighing. Danzo came. He wants you back, Itachi said. Naruto eyes widened. What? Did he find the base? Naruto asked in a dark tone.
No.
But he said he will come back soon.
¿Qué?
So annoying. Can't he understand that I left the fucking village? Naruto half yelled. He says that you are a monster that can't be tamed, Itachi said, looking at Naruto with his black eyes, and Naruto looked at Itachi with his red cat-like eyes. He's right. Can't be tamed. But I am no monster. He does not know what I did in the Toad world. I never, though, as you a monster. I never said you did. HN.
¿Qué?
So this mission. On Haha Island. Haha Island? HN. Go please. I want to sleep, Naruto said, lying on his bed and snuggled into it. Itachi nodded and left the room, closing the door behind him. With Sakura? Sakura stood on her balcony and stared at the road. She wasn't paired up anymore with anyone anymore, so she had to be on missions with the others. But all of them didn't speak a lot when Sakura was around. They knew once they talked it would lead back to Naruto or Sasuke, something they didn't want to think about. She looked back at the two forehead protectors and sighed. She didn't know how much she would miss Naruto. She missed the smiling kid, the one that always messed up things but always had fun. She was brought out of her memories when there was a knock on her door. Sakura? Her mother's voice came from behind the door. Yes, Mom, Sakura said, walking back into her room. Her mom walked into her room with a small smile on her face. Well, we just got a message from the Hokage. She wants to see you, she told her daughter. Right, I will be going then, Sakura said, walking back to her balcony, and was just about to jump off when her mother stopped her. Sakura. Yes. Smile. Sakura froze and her face became blank. Then she shook her head. Sorry, Mom. I can't anymore. You know that, Sakura said and left. Right, sorry. Don't worry, Mom. It's not your fault. Right, it's that demon. Sakura froze again. She turned to face her mom. He is no demon, Mom. He is no monster. He is a human sacrifice. You guys can't say that if you don't even know him, Sakura said.
¿Qué?
What has gotten into you? I bet that demon brain washed you, her mom yelled. If you don't believe me, then fine. Don't believe me. When I come back from the Hokage, I will pack all my stuff, she said and left. When she arrived to the Hokage's office, there were two other people.
Asakura.
How are you?
Hello, Hokage-sama.
Sakura said cheerfully. You know, my mom still thinks Naruto brain washed me, Sasukura said, slightly grinning. Well, that's not so surprising, the Hokage said, looking down at her hands that had started shaking. Anyways, here are you two new teammates, Sai and Jean. Sai and Jean? Sasukura asked, eyeing the two bees that were standing there and didn't say anything. Alright, and how come I never saw them before? That's because they weren't trained in the village, Tsunade said, looking at the two boys with a weird glare. Oh, I see, Sakura said, looking down at her feet. And Kakashi isn't going to well, so he is going to be replaced. What happened to him? Sakura said, raising up her head to look at the Hokage with a worried look on her face. Well, he went on a mission and he got seriously injured. Oh, I see. So who is his replacement? It's going to be Yamato. Yamato? You mean that guy that owns the wood shop thing in the village? Yes, exactly him. There was a giggle from one of the boys. Tsunade glared at the two of them and Sakura looked at them weirdly, like they were so strange stuff that she didn't want to touch.
Ah, sorry.
Jean said with a fake smile.
Hokage-sama.
Sakura said, looking back at the Hokage. Yes. Can I move in to Naruto's apartment? Tsunade's eyes widen but then soften again. Why? I don't want to live with my parents anymore, and I know Naruto's apartment is now empty because yesterday I saw you burn his stuff, Sakura said, squeezing her fist. Ah, so you saw. Alright then. If you want to. But it's not really at the top right now. We're repairing it right now. I can deal with that. I can just ask Ino or someone like Hinata to help me, Sakura said. Okay, if you need help, ask these two, Tsunade said, gesturing to the two boys that hasn't said anything yet. No, I don't think I need any help. If I was trained by you, Hokage-sama, I think I am strong enough for the moment, Sakura said, placing a hand on her slim waist. I see. Good. You may all leave, the Hokage said. Yes, ma'am, they all said and disappeared all at once. Tsunade stared straight in front of her. Suddenly tears started to roll down her cheeks. Uh, why am I crying? I shouldn't. I know he is all right. I'm sure he is. But you don't know if he's going to survive. A small voice told her in her mind. Shizune, Tsunade yelled. Yes, ma'am, Shizune asked, running into the room. Please bring me some sake, Tsunade said, facing the window. Shizune knew that the Hokage was in a good mood these days, so she would do anything to get the Hokage's spirits up again. Jiraiya has been visiting her more often and Tsunade would cry all night. Yes, ma'am, Shizune said quickly, walking out of the office and back in with 4 bottles of sake. Thank you, Shizune, you may go. Okay. When Sakura arrived back to her house, she immediately slammed open her closet door and rummaged through her stuff. Her mom entered her room with a questioning look on her face. Sweetheart, what are you doing? Her mother asked. I'm moving out, Sakura said sharply. But why? Where would you go? Well, Sakura said, turning around to face her mom. I'm moving out because you won't believe me in anything I tell you, nor I would want to stay in a house where I know people think that I'm brainwashed, and certainly when it's my family. But Sakura, look at what he did to you. I'm pretty sure if we take you to the Hokage, she can do something about Dash. Suddenly there was a slap. Sakura had slapped her mom and didn't regret one bit. This is what I mean. You guys don't even want to hear me out. You only think of what's in the person but not what the person in like. Sakura yelled and pushed her mom out of her room and slammed the door on her. Sakura was fuming with anger when there was a knock on her window. She stared at it for a moment but then went when there was a second knock. When she opened it, she was surprised to see Jean. Hello, Jean said. Hello, Jean. How are you? Sakura said calmly. Well, I'm fine, what about you? You seem to have a little problem there with your mother, Jean said, smirking. Once again Sakura got angry, but let it go since it was Jean. Yes, I do have a little problem with her. But that's really not important at the moment. What do you want? Sakura said, sighing. Well, Jean said, looking behind Sakura and looked at her stuff that were scattered all around her room. I might though that you needed help, even though I didn't really like to help people. I just had a feeling that I wanted to help you with something. Sakura stared at Jean for a moment but was snapped out of her thought when she remembered Jean was standing on her balcony that was facing one of the main streets. Gomein, she said, gesturing him in. It's messy here because I was just looking at the stuff I should bring and the stuff I shouldn't bring. You can sit on my bed. I don't mind. Jean nodded and walked to her bed and sat down. They stayed in silence. Sakura was packing, while Jean was looking at her. Jean, Sakura started. Can you please stop staring at me, you pervert? Huh. Ugh, never mind. Let's go. That same night with Itachi and Naruto. Naruto sat on a tree branch outside in the sunset's light. You know you're going to be seen if you're going to stay there, and certainly in that yukata of yours. A cold voice said from behind. Shut up. I'm not in a good mood, Naruto said without taking his eyes off the thing he was holding in his hand. Oh, did I hit someone's nerves, did I?
No.
In fact, you didn't. It's just that I don't want to talk to you. Sasuke sighed. Naruto was still acting like a child. You certainly didn't have change. Maybe I haven't, maybe I have. So annoying. I'm not the one who dash. Okay, shut up. I get it. Naruto stayed silent a bit, but then looked at Sasuke and smiled. Good to see you again, Sasuke. You too, Naruto. Sasuke said, looking up at Naruto. You know what? What? I hate being looked down. Huh. Tree branch. On it. Looking down on me. Naruto looked at Sasuke with confusion. Why was he talking like that? But then shrugged. He jumped down and landed next to Sasuke. Sasuke realized how Naruto had become more like a girl than a boy. but then that was another thing he could make fun of. Has your eyes been always purple? Sasuke asked. Huh? Oh no. That just happens when I'm in a good mood. You mean gentle mood? Another voice came from Bang Sasuke. Yeah, whatever. It's not like I have control on everything I have. Not like you Uchihas. We don't have control on everything we have, Naruto-kun, Itachi said. Aniki, Sasuke greeted, still feeling nervous around his brother. HN. Tachi, you certainly do have control on everything you have, Naruto said, slipping the object that was in his hand in one of his sleeves. Ha, sucker. I was right after all. You do have control on everything you have. Whatever. You should get some sleep. I bet you haven't slept that much since you came back. True. But I want to stay here with you and Saku, Naruto said, looking at Itachi with his red eyes. You. Sasuke started but then stopped when he knew Naruto was not going to react the same way he used to do. Yes, me, Naruto said, taking out one of his fans and started fanning himself. HN. Oh, for once the great Uchiha Sasuke has nothing to say. How funny. Totally like his brother better, Naruto said, glancing at Itachi that had a twitching eyebrow. Please don't act like that, Naruto-kun, Itachi said. Huh? Why not? I thought Sasuke would like it since he doesn't really like the real me, Naruto said. His face becoming blank and his tone dropped into an emotionless one. Well, sorry for Sasuke, but I really can't handle when you're like that. It makes me think of Sasuke when he was younger. Naruto's and Sasuke's eyes widen. Naruto bursted into laughter. An evil one. Sasuke just looked at his brother. What? I asked. Sorry bro, every time Naruto-kun acts like that. It reminds me of you when you were younger and kept clinging on to me, Itachi said, looking at the dying Naruto who was on the floor laughing his guts out. Stop laughing. It isn't funny, Sasuke yelled and sent 3 kunais at Naruto's head, but it only cut a bit of his red/blonde hair. Hey, I like my hair as it is now, so don't go ruining it up now, Naruto said, taking the kunais and stuck them somewhere in his yukata. Since when did you wear yukatas? Sasuke asked. Huh? Oh, this, Naruto said, getting up and brushed the dirt off. I got this one with Itachi a week after I left that stupid village. Oh. They stayed in silence for a while until Itachi broke the silence. I'm heading back. I need to rest up before we go on to that stupid mission, he said, leaving the two behind. What? You guys are going on to another mission, even though just the day before yesterday, you guys were on one the other day, Sasuke said, raising a perfect eyebrow. Oh, that time when I was ignoring you? Well, hey, guess what? Welcome to the Akatsuki, Naruto said, walking past Sasuke and patted him on his shoulder. HN. Naruto walked back into the base whereas Sasuke stayed outside for a bit, thinking. Ah shit. Sasuke muttered, remembering what he wanted to ask Naruto before his brother came. With Naruto. Naruto sat back down on his bed, a bit annoyed that Sasuke had come and interrupted his thoughts. He took out the object that he had put in his sleeve earlier. It was a black stone, and in it, if you look closely, you could faintly a glint of red in the middle. He found it when he was in the Toad world and was fascinated. Black, it's pure black, and its glint of red when you look at it closely.
Uzumaki-sama.
A voice came from the far corner of his room. Ah, it's you, Naruto said, looking at the small girl sitting on the floor with a smile. How are you? I'm fine, thank you, Uzumaki-sama. What about you? I'm fine. Tell me, why are you in the human world? It's pretty dangerous if someone caught you when you're not summoned, Naruto said, getting up and walked towards the little girl. I know, Uzumaki-sama, but just let me tell you this. You seem lonely, the small girl said, looking up at Naruto. Naruto stared at the girl, then sighed. He extended his arms out. Immediately the little girl understood. She quickly got up and threw herself into his arms. Hey, don't say stuff like that. You know that it's not only me, but you too, Naruto said, hugging the small girl in his arms. Naruto, I need to use your Itachi charmer thing. Deidara said, bursting into the room. Deidara stared at the two people. Well, this is very unexpected, for the Kyuubi no Kishijun to be hugging a small little girl. Naruto sighed and shook his head. Deidara, didn't you hear the conditions I said before I entered the Akatsuki? Naruto asked. No, Deidara said, crossing his arms. Well, Naruto started. I clearly said I didn't want anybody to disturb me, Naruto yelled.
Oi, dobe.
Please don't dashed. Sasuke started, but then when he walked into Naruto's room, froze, turned back around and left the room. Deidara, Naruto said.
Yes, sir.
Naruto piontied at the door the same way Sasuke came in and walked back out. Do the same. Right, Sorry to disturb you, Deidara said, walking back out and closed the door behind him. Then there was a small laugh. Naruto looked down at the small girl in his arms. When she noticed Naruto looking at her, she gave him a bright smile. This is the first time I've ever heard you laugh, Naruto said. Then he brought her up to his eye level. Now, tell me what's your real name, just like you promised me 10 years ago. The little girl looked at Naruto, then smiled again. She stepped back from Naruto and did a hand seal. Chapter 13. There stood in Naruto's room a big fox. So soft, Naruto muttered to himself as he caressed the fox's fur. Now you have to tell me your name, Naruto said, looking at her straight in the eyes. My name is Lisa Faramir, she said. Ah, you're that fox princess that ran away ages ago. Yes, I hated to see how our god was being threatened in the human world. So that's why I swore to Kurama that I will stay forever next to him and do whatever I can. Ah, so that's reason why you came to me that time when the villagers were beating me up. Because you swore to protect his vessel. Yes, exactly. I see. I like you more, Naruto said, burying his face into the fox's fur. This is the first time I see a royal fox like you, apart from Kurama, but he doesn't let me snuggle with him. Lisa chuckled. Well, that's him, all right. Lisa, can you tell me how my father and mother were? Naruto asked. Lisa looked at Naruto and sighed. Fine, but let me go back into a human form. It's pretty cramped in here.
No.
I like it better when you are in your true form. You can just lie down or something. Usually when you lie down you have more space. Lisa looked at Naruto again and tried as he told her to do so. To her surprise, there was much more space. See, Naruto whispered almost too softly. Yeah, well, back to the question you asked me. Your father and mother were people that were wonderful. They truly loved each other and cared for each other. Since your father was the fourth Hokage, he was really gentle but also serious. He was a good Hokage. Your mother was also a vessel like you. But no one really noticed it since she was always with your father and there was still a lot of people from the Uzumaki clan. Lisa paused. When I showed myself to your mother, I was surprised that she was fine and she was living a happy life. Though I wasn't needed, so I was about to go back, but then she asked me to stay. She was also a gentle person, but she was also a fighter. Just like Sakura, but less obsessed with the person they love and whines less. Naruto chuckled and shook his head. If only they were alive. He whispered to himself and fell asleep, still clutching Lisa's fur. Later that night, Naruto and Itachi stood in front of the Akatsuki base looking out for any other ninjas. Itachi looked at Naruto and shook his head. Naruto nodded and slipped on his Akatsuki cloak and hat. Let's go, Naruto said, walking south. Itachi nodded and followed. They walked in silence until they heard something running towards them. Suddenly men on horses raced past them but then stopped when they spotted the two Akatsuki members. "Whoa, look what we have here. Two Akatsuki members," person said. Naruto was a bit annoyed, so he pulled on Itachi's sleeve. Itachi just looked at Naruto and nodded. The people around didn't even have time to react when Itachi and Naruto just disappeared. A few meters away, Naruto and Itachi appeared. "Well, that was really stupid of them," Naruto said. "HN. You emotionless bastard," Naruto said and pushed Itachi, but didn't do much effect. "Well, let's keep going. We still have a long way to go. Let's run. I want to cross the border line before sunrise," Naruto said, looking up at the starry sky. "Itachi!" He pulled on Itachi's sleeve again and pointed up to the sky. "Look, a shooting star." Naruto took off his hat to look at the shooting star better before it disappeared. Itachi looked up and saw a glimpse of it before it acutely disappeared. "So?" Naruto asked, looking back at Itachi. "So what?" Itachi asked. "So did you make a wish?" "A wish?" "Yeah, a wish. You know a wish."
No.
"Oh, okay. And what about you, Naruto-kun? Did you make a wish?" "In fact, I did,"
Itachi-kun.
Naruto said, sticking his thumb out. "Oh, and what is it?" "Nah, I'm not going to tell you. It's supposed to be kept a secret," Naruto said, putting a finger on his lips. "Come on, let's go." Itachi nodded and they started running again towards the borderline of the fire country. A few hours later, they arrived in front of a small village. "This is it. This is the borderline. Once we travel through this village, we would be in the fire country," Naruto said, looking at the peaceful village that was still in its slumber. "HN. Now, do you want to do the longest way or the shortest way?" "Shortest." "Okay, then let's run as fast through the village when its villagers are still sleeping, okay?" "HN," Itachi said, looking at Naruto. "What?" Naruto asked with an oh-so-innocent look on his face. "We're going to run through the village like that?" "Well, didn't I just say that?" Naruto asked, growling a bit. "HN. Good." Naruto walked to the entrance of the small village and waited for Itachi. "Okay, you turn into a crow and fly while I'm going to take off my Akatsuki cloak and hat to go through the village. I don't want to turn into a fox. It would be too suspicious if a fox came running through a village." "HN. Immediately, Itachi turned into a crow and flew up into the sky and waited for Naruto. Naruto sighed and shook his head. He stripped his Akatsuki cloak off of him and stuck it in his bag. Then tied his hat to his hip. When he was ready, he gave a sign to Itachi, meaning he was ready. As soon as Naruto entered the village, he ran as fast as he could and jumped on the roof of the houses. Suddenly, an arrow flew by Itachi. Luckily, he dodged it. "Ha!" Naruto said. He looked up at Itachi, who was croaking like an idiot. "You idiot! Shut up and come here," Naruto hissed. Immediately, Itachi stopped all his commotion and flew towards Naruto. He landed gracefully on his shoulder. "Hey kid," a voice came from the forest. Naruto looked at the man who was walking towards him. "Yes, mister?" Naruto asked, not making eye contact with the man, knowing he will freak out when he sees Naruto's bloody cat-like eyes. "Is that bird yours?" the man asked, eyeing Itachi. "Yes, mister," Naruto answered. "Okay, what are you doing out here, kid? In the middle of the night?" "I'm just passing through the village, sir." "Is that a crime?" Naruto asked with a smirk on his face. Lucky the man didn't notice, but Itachi did, and he dig his claws into Naruto's shoulder to make sure Naruto doesn't go berserk. "Oh no, not at all," the man said. "I just thought you were here to steal something. I saw that bird and thought it was a monster." Itachi noticed Naruto tensing up, so he decided to calm him down by nibbling at his ears. "That's some bird you got there," the man said. "Huh? Oh yeah, he is. Maybe that's why I like him so much. Because he's special. Sometimes he can be selfish and I spoil him too much." I see. Well, don't spoil him too much. After all, he's not a human," the man said, turning around and walked back to his hiding spot. "Oh, and kid. Watch out. I was told there were people in black cloaks and red clouds that were supposed to be in this area. So be careful and don't get caught." "Thank you, sir. I will make sure I will be careful. Goodbye." "Goodbye." Naruto ran off and was mentally laughing at the man. The man was a pervert. He kept checking him out. Not also he kept checking him out, but he totally forget to ask if he was a ninja and what village did he come from. Once past the border and safe from anybody's view, Itachi turned back into his original form. Itachi, Naruto crooned. "HN. So, how did it felt being targeted when you were in your crow form?" Itachi looked at Naruto and didn't say anything. "Won't tell me, huh? I figured that much," Naruto said, rolling his eyes. He put his cloak and hat back on. "Let's go. We can go across the fire country in less than a week if we go now." "HN," Itachi said, pulling his hat a bit down. They ran in silence until the break of dawn. "Hey, Itachi. Let's stop here for a while. I'm kind of exhausted." They stopped near a small river with tall trees. They had decided to hide in the tall trees if ever anyone passes by. An hour later, Itachi and Naruto were sitting on a thick branch up high in the trees. Naruto was leaning on Itachi's chest while Itachi laid his head on Naruto's with his arms around his waist. Naruto had his eyes closed when he felt chakra. He frowned. Noticing that Naruto made a funny face, Itachi tightened his grip on him, but Naruto just shook his head. Then Naruto's eyes snapped open. "What?" Itachi whispered. "It's Konohamaru," Naruto whispered back and squeezed Itachi's cloak. "Don't worry. I'm not. It's just that I don't want to face him. I don't want to kill him." "Naruto, listen," Itachi whispered, lifting Naruto's face up. "Who ever said that you had to kill? But I swore that I would kill anybody that's from Konoha that crosses my path. I never thought it would be him to be the first one that I dash." "Naruto, don't go berserk. It's okay, you can just forget that. I swore that I would never hurt Sasuke. But look what he became. He almost became a killing machine." "Heh, but that's different. I don't have any family in Konoha, so I'm not attached to it. Not even a bit." "You're lying." "Huh? Are you implying that I'm a liar?" Naruto asked, pushing Itachi off of him, and stood up. His eyes narrowed and his canines became sharper.
No.
"I'm no implying that you are a liar," Itachi said calmly and pulled Naruto back into a hug. "Just remember that it's there where we had met and there was Hinata. Don't forget she was and probably still is in love with you." "True."
I'm sorry.
"HN. They're almost here. What should we do?" Naruto asked, looking at Itachi. "Wait and see if they know we are here." "Oh." They waited for a few minutes. A half an hour.
Naruto-kun.
Itachi started. "Are you sure that it was Konohamaru?" "Yes, I am sure, Itachi. They are just taking a rest." Naruto answered a bit harsh. "HN. They're moving now." Itachi nodded. Not long after they heard footsteps, getting closer by the second. Slowly they could see 4 people walking towards them. Not too long after, they could see Konohamaru and his team. Konohamaru was beaming like he just won something. "Konohamaru, stop it. It's getting annoying," the girl said, pouting. "Ah, come on. Don't be mad just because I got it. Tell me, Konohamaru, what do you want to be? His teacher asked. I want to be the 7th Hokage. Oh? Who do you think will be the 6th Hokage?
Naruto ni-chan.
Everyone went silent. Naruto's gripped Itachi's cloak harder. Oh really? But he left the village and he joined the Akatsuki. I know that, but I still have hopes he come backs. What's up with all of you? You guys always say that it was a good thing that he joined the Akatsuki. You guys always say he's a damn monster. He did nothing, Konohamaru yelled. With that, he turned around and ran back from where they were just an hour ago. His two teammates and his teacher stared at him running back. Naruto and Itachi stayed silent, but Itachi knew Naruto was shocked. Konohamaru still had hopes for him. But he was just a kid. He didn't know what Naruto has sealed in him. He was just too young. Naruto got up and looked down at the three people standing there looking at the direction Konohamaru ran off. Naruto, don't. They are just under us. Itachi whispered to Naruto. If we move now, they will see us. If we go later, when they will be looking for him, then we can move out. Naruto stared at Itachi for a while. Then he nodded. Fine. But I just want to find Konohamaru before they do. Naruto whispered back, settling back down. Itachi nodded. Saints, I don't think he will come back here. He's most likely to get lost. The girl said. Everyone sighed. Fine. We will go look for him. You two stay together, okay? If you are in any danger, shoot a smoke bomb up in the air, high enough so that I can see. Okay? Yes. Scatter. They all went in different directions, leaving Itachi and Naruto. Well, that was fast, Naruto said. HN. They both stood up and jumped down from the tree. Just follow me. I can track down Konohamaru, Naruto said. You can? He's not a fast runner then.
No.
He in fact is. It's just that I can feel his chakra from far. What the? Itachi muttered to himself. Yeah, I know, Naruto said, waving his hand. Then he started to run towards the same direction Konohamaru had ran off to. Soon after some turns, Naruto and Itachi had arrived to a small opening not far from a village, where Konohamaru was weeping silently. Naruto took a deep breath and walked towards Konohamaru. Who's there? Konohamaru asked, spinning around but soon froze. Shit, Konohamaru thought. You're from the Akatsuki, right? Naruto didn't answer. Itachi stayed in the shadows of the trees, being Naruto, deciding it's something he shouldn't interfere with yet. Answer me. You're from the Akatsuki. You took Naruto and Aichan. Answer me. So, it was his choice to join the Akatsuki. We didn't force him. Naruto finally said.
No.
Konohamaru said, taking a kunai. It's impossible. He couldn't have had joined the Akatsuki. He didn't do anything wrong and he cared for the village too much. Fool. You were just tricked. You don't know him after all. Shut up. I know Naruto and Aichan better than anyone else in the village. Oh really? Because he didn't tell me that. He told me that the people that really understand him are the two survivors of the Uchiha clan. Konohamaru froze, shock written all over his face.
Impossible.
I know Naruto and Aichan better than anyone else. Konohamaru though. You thought you did. Be deep down you know that it isn't true. A voice said in his head. No, Konohamaru, he's from the Akatsuki. He could be lying. Who are you? Show yourself. Konohamaru demanded. TSK. So annoying. Naruto said. Take your hat off or I will force it off of you. The Akatsuki member didn't move. So Konohamaru ran towards Naruto. He was just about to slash him with his kunai, but it hit his hat instead. Konohamaru stared in shock at the person standing in front of him as the hat fell down onto the ground.
Impossible. Naruto ni-chan.
Konohamaru said. He extended his arms out to Naruto for a hug, but Naruto glared at him and kicked him in the stomach. Suddenly, a second Akatsuki member appeared and quickly gabbed Naruto and disappeared.
Naruto ni-chan.
Konohamaru yelled, but it was no use, he was already gone. A few meters away, Naruto was weeping in Itachi's arms. Itachi whispered some gentle words like when he used to calm his brother when he was younger or how he used to calm Naruto when he was still in the village. It's okay to cry. Cry as much as you want. Itachi whispered into Naruto's ear while hugging him tightly and rubbing his thumb on his back. Chapter 1. Konohamaru sat there, staring into the woods. He didn't even notice his team arriving just at the moment he had screamed Naruto's name. Konohamaru, a calm voice said, but Konohamaru didn't more nor blinked. Konohamaru, another said, but it was sharper than the one before and it was deeper. Sensei, let me do it. I know what to do in these situations, the first voice said. Suddenly Konohamaru felt a warm hand on his shoulder. It gently shook him. Konohamaru, look at me. Follow the source off me voice. Empty your head. Just listen to my voice. Konohamaru wanted to do it, but he was scared. It's okay. You can cry. You can scream. You can do everything. Just look at me. Konohamaru shook his head, but his eyes were glued to the forest. Kanemaru, please. With Naruto and Itachi. Ah, this is so annoying, Naruto yelled. HN. I said this is annoying. HN. Is HN all you've got to say? Naruto hissed. HN. Ugh, why did I even become friends with you in the first place? Naruto groaned. HN. In fact, I take that back. Naruto and Itachi were tied up in an old shack in an old town 6 hours away from the borderline. HN. How are we going to get out of this? You can't use your damned fire and I can summon, right? Lisa, Naruto said. A few seconds later there was a pop.
Narukun.
What happened? Lisa asked, running towards Naruto in her human form. Well, long story. Can you untie me please? Naruto asked. Itachi, I know you can untie yourself with your damn thing where you change into a crow. If I turn into a fox, I might go crazy since I'm a demon. Lisa began to untie Naruto's hands, keeping silent, not looking at Itachi. Itachi sighed and turned into a crow. He landed by Naruto but kept distant from Lisa. Once Naruto was freed, Itachi flew onto his shoulder. Itachi, Naruto whispered softly. What is it? But the crow picked his wings and ignored Naruto's question.
Narukun.
Lisa said, looking at Naruto. Why were you captured? Well, we wanted to stay here, but they saw Itachi, and they said that since we are from the Akatsuki to be their hostage because blah blah blah. I see, Lisa said, smiling gently. To see Lisa smiling, Naruto smiled back. Itachi's claws dig into Naruto's shoulder. Itachi, what the hell? That hurts, Naruto hissed. But Itachi just shook his head, croaked and flapped his wings. Shut it. It's annoying, and the villagers will suspect if dash. Suddenly Naruto froze. Then everyone froze. Naruto froze because he felt chakra. Same for Lisa, but Itachi just froze because everyone shut up and froze. Naruto glaced at Itachi and raised a perfect eyebrow. But soon after he shook his head and smirked. He understood that Itachi didn't know why both of them stopped talking and moving, so he decided to mouth it out. There is someone outside. We need to keep quiet. Itachi nodded. They waited and waited. When suddenly Naruto jumped up. Lisa raised her eyebrow with a questioning look on her face. Naruto did a small circle with his finger, meaning they were surrounded. Lisa nodded and got up. Soon after she disappeared. Not too long after they heard cries from outside. Now I think we can go out, Naruto whispered to Itachi, who had kept still. Once outside, Naruto crunched up his nose. He could smell blood everywhere. Not seeing Lisa, Naruto just shrugged and started to leave. This is going to be a long mission, Naruto said, sighing. Itachi just croaked. A day after. Yay! We got the mission done, Naruto said, just coming back from the island. HN. Tachi, stop, HNNG. Naruto said, scratching his forearm, just right at the cursed mark Orochimaru had left on Naruto. Does it hurt again? Or does it just prickling? Itachi asked, grabbing Naruto's arm. At Itachi's contact, Naruto winced. Itachi, not here. People can come here. Let's go somewhere else, Naruto said weakly. Itachi stared at Naruto and let go. He was right after all. They were standing on a public beach at 9 a.m. Fine. Let's go into an inn.
I'm paying.
Itachi said, almost as soft as a whisper. Huh? But how? They will recognize you, Naruto said. Then, Itachi took off Naruto's cloak off of him and untied his hair. You go in and go rent the damn room with my money, Itachi said. Naruto looked at Itachi but then shook his head. Fine. He gumbled. Naruto went into the small town that was next to the ocean. Once he reserved the room and went into it, Itachi appeared into the room with a small poof. Naruto sat on the bed and looked towards the floor. Not wanting to look at Itachi, Itachi walked towards Naruto and stood in front of him. Off, Itachi commanded, but Naruto didn't move, so Itachi sighed and kneeled down so that he was at the same height as Naruto. Take it off. Nothing. Naruto, take it off. He moved a bit, but still nothing. Naruto, take off your yukata. Naruto shook his head. Naruto, take your damn yukata off before I force you to take it off, Itachi growled. Naruto quickly reacted. He pushed off the right side of his yukata, then the left part. He let the top part flop down until the part where the other piece of cloth was holding the yukata closed. Off, Itachi said, pointing at the cloth. Wadash. Now. Naruto did so. He got up and untied the cloth and let it drop to the floor. He didn't make eye contact with Itachi. Soon after, the yukata fell onto the floor, leaving him in his boxers. I knew it. You got hurt during the mission, Itachi whispered, touching Naruto's torso, where a wound was getting healed but slower than usually. What happened when I was not there? It seemed that it was pretty deep if it's still healing. Also, that curse mark Orochimaru gave you, why is it glowing red? I don't know why it's glowing red, and nothing serious happened when you were gone. This is nothing. It would be completely healed at the end of the day. After all, I am a demon and I have karama, Naruto said, picking up his yukata. But just before he could even pick it up, he was pushed down onto the bed by Itachi. What the hell? Naruto hissed. Demon or no demon, you need to treat your wounds, karama or no karama. You won't heal that fast if it would be that deep. I don't need the be cared, Naruto said. Itachi sighed and crawled on top of Naruto and pinned his hands to the bed. Naruto tried to break free but couldn't since he was almost out of chakra. He turned his head to the side to not make eye contact with Itachi. Naruto, look at me, because what I'm going to say right now is something I'm only going to say once, Itachi whispered into Naruto's ear. By just Itachi's cold voice and the soft whisper in his ear, Naruto shivered and turned his head to look at Itachi. To Naruto's shock, Itachi's eyes were still black, not their red Sharingan like he though they would be. I know most of your existence. You experienced a lot of things and was never cared for, except when I was there. But it was only for a small time. But now you are once by my side. So let me take care of you. Naruto didn't know how to react. He was scared. Too scared to say anything. Too scared to move, talk. Not realizing it, Naruto's eyes had turned blue and his eyes started to water. Soon after, Naruto was crying. not making any sound.
I'm sorry.
It's just this is new to me and I don't know how to react. Naruto said, turning around and buried his face into a pillow. Itachi sighed and wrapped his arms around Naruto's waist. It's okay to cry. Cry all you want. I'll stay here. I won't go anywhere. Itachi whispered into Naruto's ear. He kissed Naruto's bare back. A few minutes later, Naruto stopped crying, his eyes red from crying. Tachi, Naruto whispered. HN. You're heavy. Itachi thought for a moment, then remembered that he was laying on Naruto and that Naruto was way smaller than him. HN. Sorry. No need to be. After all, you did comfort me. Naruto said, giving Itachi a small kiss on his cheek. Now let's go. He got up from the bed and was about to get off when he was pulled back by strong arms. HN. No, let's sleep. Itachi said, snuggling into the neck of Naruto. Hey Itachi, let go. Naruto said, trying to pry off Itachi's arms.
No.
Just for this once. Itachi said, pulling off Naruto's ribbon from his hair. Ah, my hair. Itachi. Shut up and go to sleep, Itachi said. No too long after, Naruto could feel breath on the back of his neck, meaning Itachi had fallen asleep. Naruto sighed. Itachi might be exhausted. He was awake even when they were supposed to be sleeping. He was always tensed and was always on his guard. Knowing he's going to be stuck like this for quite a moment, he decided to sleep. With Gaara,
Gaara-sama.
a shinobi said from behind. I'll be leaving and I won't be back for a while, so please make sure the village isn't going to be ruled by those oldies. Gaara said. Yes, sir. Back with Itachi and Naruto. HM. Naruto mumbled, waking up. He still felt the strong arms of Itachi around his bare chest. Talking about bare chest, Naruto quickly got up. Holy shit, Naruto mumbled to himself. He quickly got up from the bed and grabbed his yukata. HN, what's the matter, Naruto? Itachi asked, waking up from Naruto's movements. My problem is you for right now, Itachi, Naruto said, his back facing Itachi. Oh, and why is that? Itachi asked, watching Naruto slipping on his yukata. Because I fell asleep without any clothes and I fell asleep in your arms, Naruto quickly said, tying his yukata close. Naruto, look over here, Itachi said. Pissing him off, Naruto turned his head quickly to look at Itachi, but then he saw his untied hair. Oh my god, Naruto squeaked. You wanted me to whip my head around to see my hair whip my face like that. HN. I am going to kill you after I put my hair back up, Naruto growled. Ah, that, Naruto. I'm not too sure about that, Itachi said, lifting the ribbon up to show Naruto. Ah, but I have another one, Naruto said, taking out another ribbon from his sleeve. HN. Upset now, are you? Naruto said, proud of himself.
No.
Huh? Why? Because I got to sleep with you. What the? You know what? I'm not even going to ask. Naruto, come back here, Itachi said.
No.
We have to leave now. We need to report to Pain-sama our mission, Naruto said, tying his hair back up. So? He can wait. He hates waiting, and you know that. Itachi sighed. For once he got this close to Naruto, but now they had to leave again to the place where his brother is. HN. Hey, are you all right? Naruto asked. HN. Are you? You still have those bloodthirst of yours? Itachi asked, getting up from the bed. Kinda, but less from before. I can handle it. HN. Let's go. I don't want to waste another moment, Naruto said. Hey, just a moment, Itachi said. What is it now? Naruto groaned. Suddenly he felt Itachi behind him and tensed up. He suddenly felt a cool chain around his neck. "Here," Itachi whispered into his ear. Naruto looked down at what Itachi put around his neck. There were 2 rings. "Okay," Naruto said. "Why are you giving me a necklace with 2 rings on it?" "Super. Back to the emotionless bastard you are," Naruto said, rolling his eyes. Chapter 15. At the Akatsuki base. Once they were done reporting back to Pain, Itachi was about to ask Naruto if he wanted to go into a village nearby until his little brother came around the corner. "Naruto," called a voice from baying them. "Huh?" Naruto asked, turning around. "Oh, Sasuke. Do you want to go into the village nearby?" Sasuke asked, glancing at Itachi, who stayed silent. "Huh? Maybe another time. I don't feel like going to a place with people," Naruto said, walking past him. Not too far behind him, Itachi followed. "Oh, I see. I thought you would like to come with me. After all, we haven't seen each other for quite a while now," Sasuke said without looking at the 2. Naruto sighed and stopped. "I know, but right now I'm not in the mood. Maybe another time." "K Sasuke?" Naruto asked. "HN," Sasuke said. Naruto nodded and walked back to his room with Itachi not too far behind. Once Itachi and Naruto gone, Sasuke sighed and smirked. "This is going to fun," he whispered to himself. "What is going to be fun?" a feminine voice said from behind Sasuke. "Oh, nothing, Conan," Sasuke said, turning around to face her. "HM, but I have one thing to tell you before my leave," she said, approaching Sasuke. Once they were touching shoulders, she slipped one of her paper on Sasuke without him noticing. "Don't hurt Naruto nor Itachi." Conan left without another word, leaving Sasuke once again alone. "I do not wish to hurt Naruto nor Itachi. I already did enough things that hurt them, but I have to do something." With Itachi and Naruto, they had left Sasuke and were now almost to their rooms. "See you," Naruto said before entering his room, but soon was stopped. "Itachi?" Naruto asked, turning around to look at him. "Village. Tomorrow."
Noin
Itachi asked. Naruto stared at Itachi for about a minute or 2. Itachi's hopes started to drop until he saw Naruto's eyes becoming purple. "Sure. I need a new yukata anyways," Naruto said. "Good. See you tomorrow then," Itachi said, letting Naruto go and walking into his room. Naruto went into his room and dropped onto his bed. Moments later, he heard a hissing sound. He got up and looked around. There, slithering around his bed, was a black and orange snake. "Ah, you must be Kabuto's snake," Naruto said. The snake lifted his head until he was right at Naruto's eye level. It opened its mouth and dropped 50 small bottles onto the bed. "Those are bottles of blood, I suppose," Naruto said, taking a bottle. The snake nodded and disappeared. Naruto undid the cap of the bottle he was holding and drank it. "Ah, this is a mixture of animal blood. Kurama, what do you think which animals he used?" "I'm not too sure, Kit, but one thing I know is that he used a deer's." "Oh, okay. Kit, I have a bad feeling of that Uchiha kid." "Which one? Sasuke?" "Yeah." "And why so? When we were in the village and he was still there, you didn't have a bad feeling of him." "Yeah, but he changed. Much more than you did." Naruto sighed. He just then realized that he was no longer hungry. There was a knock. "Naruto," a soft voice said. "Yes, come in," Naruto said, gathering quickly the small bottles. The door creaked open to reveal Haiden. "Oh God, what is it?" Naruto asked. "Pain just want to see you." "Oh really? What does he want?" "He just wants to see you. Stop asking so many questions, you brat." Okay. Hayden left and Naruto got up to go to Pain's office but spotted Itachi in the corner. "Why are you there?" Naruto asked. "Oh, Pain wants to see you too," Naruto said, closing his door, and they started to walk. But not too soon after, Sasuke had joined them. "It looks like I'm not the only one," Sasuke said. "What did you do now, Naruto?" Naruto didn't say anything and continued. Sasuke felt uncomfortable with the silence, especially with Naruto and Itachi. Once they've arrived in front of Pain's door, Naruto knocked. Immediately after he knocked, the door opened. "Komein," Pain said. Naruto stormed with Itachi and Sasuke behind. Though," Naruto started, crossing his arms and stood in front of Pain's office. "That after each mission, me and Itachi gets 2 days off." "Don't worry, Naruto-kun. I just have something to discuss something. Then I will send you two with Sasuke on a mission in a week," Pain said. "What? Sasuke is going to be with us? But he's not even part of the Akatsuki," Naruto said. "For him to be part of the Akatsuki, he has to complete a certain number of missions. But since this is his first time, he will go with you too."
No.
"I can't allow that. Me and Itachi are just fine together like this. We do not need another person on a damned mission. First time or not, Sasuke or not, I don't care. I believe that you and Sasuke were best friends," Pain said, a strange look in his eyes. "So, what if he was and still is? I don't dash." "Naruto, just let it go," Sasuke said. "Shut up, Sasuke." "Naruto," Itachi said. Naruto froze. "Let it go for once."
¿Qué?
"Go on. What next?" Naruto said. "Well, since you and Sasuke are best friends, I would like you two to share a room since Deidara exploded his." "Hey, I thought that we agreed that I would have a separate room no matter what," Naruto growled. "True, but it won't be too long," Pain said, amused. "Oh, but Pain, you know that I said that I do not want to share a room with anyone. Why can't he just go in Sasori's room?" "Because his room is full of his puppets." "Damn him. Fine, whatever. Sasuke can stay in my room," Naruto said, turning around. Pain nodded and took out a scroll from his sleeve and threw it to Itachi. "Let's go," Naruto mumbled. Itachi nodded. Just before Sasuke followed them, Pain stopped him. "Sasuke." "HN?" Sasuke asked. "I have a feeling that you want to join the Akatsuki because someone sent you here," Pain said. "I don't know what put that thought in your head, but it's not that," Sasuke said, walking out of the room, closing the door behind him. Itachi and Naruto were in the kitchen when Sasuke had left Pain's office. To Sasuke's surprise, Itachi and Naruto were having a silent conversation. Itachi looked at Naruto. Naruto looked back. Naruto narrowed his eyes. Itachi noodled. Naruto shook his head. Itachi pointed at his neck. Naruto smiled and nodded. Itachi smiled back and then looked at the wall. Sasuke coughed at this weird situation. "Oh, Sasuke," Naruto said. Sasuke rolled his eyes, knowing that Naruto knew he was there. "Your room," Sasuke said. Naruto sighed and got up, followed by Itachi. "Damn, this is the first time I saw Itachi so clingy. And why is so clingy to that dope? Too many questions going through my head," Sasuke thought, following them. Once they were in front of Naruto's room, Naruto opened his door and walked in. Itachi stayed in the hallway. "Sasuke, you can come in. After all, you're just going to stay here for a day or two," Naruto said, picking up something from the shelf. Sasuke nodded and walked into the room. To his surprise, it was bigger once inside than just looking at it from the doorway, and clean. "There's only one bed," Sasuke pointed out. "But we can share the bed. We've done that before." "Yeah, I know. But I don't feel like sharing a bed with you though," Naruto said, heading back to the door. "But we are best friends." I know, But I'm not in the mood to share a bed with someone. Then where are you going to stay? In Itachi's room, Naruto said, walking to Itachi's side. Don't worry, it's just in front. Too many questions, Naruto said, throwing his arms up in the air, raveling a bit of the curse mark that was glowing red. Naruto, Itachi said. What? Naruto snapped. Oh shit. Itachi grabbed Naruto's arm and pulled him into his room, leaving Sasuke dumbfounded again. In the room. Why is it still red? Itachi hissed, pulling Naruto's. I don't know, Naruto said, trying to get free from Itachi's grip, but failed. Itachi, it hurts. But Itachi didn't let go, he just activated his Sharingan. Itachi no. Naruto protested. He put his hand over the curse mark, but knew it was going to do anything. Itachi, it's nothing. You knew, didn't you? Itachi said, his voice cold as ever. Naruto didn't answer and looked away. Answer me, Naruto. You knew that damned curse mark was taking half of your damn chakra. Itachi hissed, hardening his grip on Naruto. Yes, I'm sorry. Please let me go now, Naruto pleaded. Itachi's eyes widened. He snapped out of it and let go of Naruto, and deactivated his Sharingan.
I'm sorry.
But we have to do something about that, Itachi said, sitting down on his bed. I bet Sasuke has something to do with this. Huh? You too? But he's my best friend, Naruto said, staying near the door. I know, but I just get the feeling. What do you mean by me too? Itachi said. Well, Kurama thinks that, Naruto murmured, rubbing the spot Itachi gripped. Itachi sighed. Look, I'm sorry. Can you come here? Itachi asked, extending his hand out for Naruto. Naruto looked at Itachi. For the second time, Itachi held his breath. Naruto's eyes were blue again. Please. Naruto shook his head. Please, Naruto? Naruto shifted a bit and then went into the arms of Itachi and snuggled into his neck and wrapped his arms around his neck. Do you forgive me? Itachi whispered. Of course I forgive you. How can I not forgive you? Naruto said, making himself comfortable in Itachi's lap. By killing Sasuke. Naruto froze and didn't say anything. Itachi slid his arms around Naruto's waist and pulled him to his chest. So, will you forgive if I ever kill Sasuke? Itachi whispered into Naruto's ear. Naruto still didn't answer. Naruto, will you ever forgive me if I ever kill Sasuke? Itachi asked. I don't know, Naruto finally said. I see. It's okay, Itachi said. They stayed into that position for a while until they felt a bit more comfortable. So, now the curse mark, Itachi said, kissing Naruto's neck. You know, Itachi, you should talk more. I love your voice, Naruto said, squeezing Itachi for a brief second. I only talk this much for you, but apart from that damned curse mark, Itachi whispered. Itachi, speak louder, Naruto said, letting go of Itachi and laid on the bed. But we have to do something about that mark. If it keeps absorbing your chakra dash, Itachi started but soon was stopped by a finger. Now that's not important. It only absorbs my chakra when I use it, Naruto said. What is important right now is why did he put this on me and why did he let Sasuke go? Really? But how are we going to find out? Itachi asked, playing with a stand of Naruto's hair. Easy, we ask Gaara. Gaara. Yes, Gaara. 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 Why Gaara? Itachi asked. Because he has his ways. His brother and sister knows a lot about seals and stuff like that, so he knows something too, Naruto said, rolling onto his stomach and hugged one of Itachi's pillows. Ah? Yeah, you want to meet him? I'm meeting with him tonight, Naruto said, closing his eyes. I don't know. Will he accept me? What? Of course he will. Since you are one of the closest people to me. One? Aren't I the closest person to you? Itachi asked, raising an eyebrow. I hate everyone. You love me. Whatever, Naruto said. I'm coming, Itachi finally said. Good. The answer I've been waiting for. HN. Stop it. It makes me think of Sasuke every time you do that, Naruto said. Well, I am his brother. But it doesn't mean that you have to be like him. HN. Whatever. Itachi, Naruto hissed and kicked Itachi in the back. Hey Itachi? HN. Do you ever think that I will ever have a normal life? Naruto asked. You're living in a normal life. No, I mean like living with a normal family. Oh, of course I think that one day you will. You will marry a wonderful person, and maybe have kids if you support them. But who will love me? A demon like me? Wait, I'm no demon. I'm a half-demon. I love you, Itachi said. You don't count. Oh really? Yeah. I still love you. Shut up. Chapter 16. Gaara stood on a cliff, no more like a head. Naruto had told him to be there when the sun came down, but he arrived there 3 hours early. Gaara. A voice came from the foot of the statue. Gaara looked down. There was Naruto staring up at Gaara. Naruto. Why on the water? Gaara said. Oh, wanna go in the forest? Naruto yelled. Gaara nodded and jumped down into the forest. Naruto followed Gaara's movement, with Itachi flying next to him. Once they found a good spot, Gaara had sat down and waited. So, Gaara, I know you don't like him, but here's Itachi, Naruto said, gesturing to the crow, who morphed into Itachi. When Itachi was in his original body, he neutered to Gaara, who didn't do anything. We cannot trust him, Naruto, Gaara said. Maybe you can't, but I know I can. What is your relationship with him, for you to trust him so much? Well, first, we've known each other since I was little. He never betrayed me. He knows my weakness. I know his. Naruto started, then reached for the 2 rings and showed them to Gaara. Wear this, and please don't say it out loud or to anybody. I want it to be kept a secret. Gaara didn't say anything for a while but then nodded. Fine. I will cooperate with you guys. What is it? It's this, Itachi said, pulling up Naruto's sleeve, revealing the curse mark that was still red. Mr. Here knew that every time he used his chakra, this mark would take half of his chakra, and the other day we were on a mission, he got hurt and the wound isn't healed yet. He continued by pulling off Naruto's yukata off, showing the wound. What the? Itachi, Naruto hissed, blushing a bit. Ah, that's something I never saw. How strange. Who left that mark on you? Gaara asked. Orochimaru, Naruto said, putting his yukata back on. I'm sorry. I can't do anything for you. What? Itachi asked. You mean that you can't do anything about it just because it's Orochimaru's doing?
No.
All I'm saying is that if we do what the book says for that curse mark, there's a huge change that Naruto will lose his memory and will become. Gaara started but then trailed off in his own thoughts. And will what? Itachi asked, advancing Gaara. Itachi, Naruto warned. Itachi backed away until he was behind Naruto. I cannot tell you why, because I do not know what will happen on a half-demon, Gaara said. I'm a half-demon? Naruto asked, a bit of terror in his voice. Yes, that's why you crave blood, because your human body does not have enough blood for your demon part. But then, I have Kurama inside of me. I know, but now that I think of it, there's 3 solutions. 1, you lose your memories. 2, you become a full-flesh demon and might go berserk and you will be separated from Kurama. 3,
Yudi.
the 3 of them stayed silent a bit. Naruto could see Itachi's brain working, repeating what Gaara just said. What? Itachi started, choosing his words carefully. What do you mean he will die? What I mean by that is the presses will kill him. Isn't there another solution? Itachi asked. I'm afraid there isn't, Gaara said, closing his eyes. Damn it. If Naruto dies dash. Which one would you prefer? For his to lose his memories or to die? Gaara growled. Itachi stayed silent. He looked at Naruto, who was looked at Itachi with a sad expression. I think we all know the answer, Gaara said. Naruto, when are you going to be free? In 3 weeks, I think, Naruto said without looking away from Itachi. Okay, I will see you then. Tell your leader that you will be gone over 3 months, Gaara said, standing up. Itachi's head snapped towards Gaara, his Sharingan activated. What? It's going to take 3 months? Itachi asked. Itachi! I know you and Naruto just got back together just a few weeks ago, but if that curse mark continues to take his chakra like that, one day when he's almost out of chakra, he will die. And something bad would happen if Naruto would die, Gaara said, turning his back to them. I'll go berserk, Itachi whispered, putting a hand over his eyes. When that happens, we won't know what will happen. With that, Gaara left. Itachi and Naruto stood there for a while, until Itachi broke the silence.
No.
He muttered. He imagined Naruto's dead body lying in his arms. No, I don't want that. Itachi, Naruto said, walking towards him. To Itachi's surprise, Naruto hugged him. It's going to be all right. Let's just forget about that for now, Naruto whispered. You're right, Itachi said, hugging Naruto back. I love you. Me too. Let's go back, Naruto said, letting Itachi go. Hey Kit, the tailed beast said. Yes, Kurama? Sorry to ruin your little romantic moment, but I have a favor to ask you. With Sakura? Sakura, someone said at her door. Coming. Just a minute, Sakura yelled. She took her forehead protector and tied it around her slim waist. Then she took a ponytail holder and tied her hair into a small low ponytail. Then she opened her door. To her surprise, Jean was standing there with Sai. Oh, hello guys, Sakura said. Good morning, Sakura, Jean said, smiling. Hello, Sai said. Please don't be too friendly with me. I still don't trust you guys, Sakura said, smiling a bit. Jean dropped his smile and Sai seemed to relax a bit. Oh, sorry. This is our first time, you see. We've never been trained in the big villages, Jean said. It's okay. If you were trained in here or not, won't do any much effect on me. You're just my new team mates that I don't know yet and don't trust. That is all. I understand that perfectly. Anyways, we're here because the Hokage wants to see us for a new mission. Oh, already? Yeah. Okay. Just a minute. I'll lock this place up before, Sakura said, grabbing her keys and locked the door. Once they've arrived into the Hokage's office, to Sakura's surprise, Ino's team was already there.
Hello, Hokage-sama.
Sakura greeted. Hello, Sakura, the god anime greeted back. Now, as you can see, you will go on a mission with Ino's team. Yes, Sakura said, nodding her head. She could feel Ino's eyes scanning her, and it started to get on her nerves. What is the mission about? It has to do with Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto and Sasuke? Sakura asked, her face lighting up a bit. Yes. Excuse me, Hokage-sama, but what happened exactly with Naruto and Sasuke? Well, let's say that Naruto has gone back to the sides of someone really dear to him, Sasuke just wanted power to kill that man. Sakura, Shikamaru, Jin, and Sai knew what their Hokage was talking about. Someone dear to him? Ino asked. Nobody talked for a while. Tsunade really started to get irritated. Already she didn't like the person they were talking about, and he hurt Naruto. Yes, well, let's get to the main point of this meeting. Like I told you guys before, this mission is about Naruto and Sasuke. They will be in the Fire Country at the end of this week. I want you to stop them passing Trough the Fire Country. Why so? They can do whatever they want, no? Sakura asked. She really didn't want to see her old teammates, not after what they did to her. Because they are part of the Akatsuki, and they want something that is very important that they cannot have. The Hokage said. Sakura didn't say anything, even though she felt like yelling at the Hokage. Hokage-sama, Naruto entered the Akatsuki? Choji asked. The Hokage sighed and rubbed her forehead. It's classified, she answered. Oh, okay. So like I was saying, stop them from getting through. But beware, they are in the Akatsuki after all. That's why I am sending you guys, because you were the closest to them. To tell you the truth, we don't really know them. They were always together, Sakura said. So they know each other the best. I don't think so. It was pretty obvious that Naruto was pretending to be a loud person and to be the last person of the class. Shikamaru said. What?
Impossible.
I know them better than you, Sakura said, glaring at Shikamaru. Well, apparently not. Be quiet, both of you, and you all are dismissed, the Hokage bellowed.
Goodbye, Hokage-sama.
They all said in unison. Goodbye, Tsunade answered dryly. They're going to fail, she thought to herself, shaking her head. She sighed and shook her head, then decided it was time to do papers again. With Naruto and Sasuke. Sasuke and Naruto sat in the living room in silence, until Sasuke broke it. Naruto, why did you join the Akatsuki? Sasuke asked. I joined it because I wanted to, Naruto answered. Oh, why aren't you wearing that bright orange jumpsuit anymore? Because I don't want to anymore. I thought you wanted to be Hokage. I used to, but I dropped that dream a few months after I entered the academy. Why? What happened? Well, let's say that stuff happened and I suddenly changed my mind and I didn't want to be Hokage anymore. Oh, so what do you want to do now? Since when you were so interested in my life? I never was and never will be. You're asking questions right now of my life. Sasuke rolled his eyes. Now it's my turn to ask the questions. Why did you enter the Akatsuki? Naruto said. I joined it because I wanted to and my brother is in it. Sasuke answered. Do you still want to kill him?
No.
Are you here on a mission from Orochimaru? What?
No.
Sasuke hissed. Do you want to kill me?
No.
I do not want to kill you. Do you still have a connection with Orochimaru? No, I do not. Okay. Can you teach me about seals? Sasuke asked, looking away. Seals? Why would you want to learn about seals? Naruto asked. Because... Ugh, don't sweat it. Fine, I will, but you have to do something in return. Okay. I'll teach you about chakra control. Okay. I'm leaving, Naruto said, getting up, but Sasuke grabbed onto his yukata's sleeve. No, wait, Sasuke started, but then let go immediately when he realized what he did. Ah, I'm sorry, okay, you can leave. Thank you, Naruto said, leaving quickly. Once he was in Itachi's room, he didn't realize that he was slightly blushing. What happened? He heard a smooth voice ask. Nothing special, just questions, Naruto said. So then, why are you blushing? Naruto's eyes widened and his blush darkened. I'm not, he said, running into Itachi's arms. I wasn't blushing because of him. I never said that it was him that made you blush. All I asked is why are you blushing? Itachi said, hugging Naruto tightly. I was blushing because Gaara knows about us, Naruto muttered. Ah, so what? Isn't okay for him to know? I mean, he is really close to you, no? I guess, but I feel so embarrassed for some reason. Like the first time I kissed. Naruto said but trailed off before he could say anything. The time you kissed? Kissed who? Itachi asked. Naruto let go of Itachi and went to the far end of the bed, his back facing him. Oh, nothing. It's nothing to worry about, Naruto said, playing with his small ponytail. Naruto, Itachi growled. It's really nothing, Naruto squeaked. Naruto, Itachi said and made his way to Naruto. Tell me now. I said it was nothing, Itachi, Naruto said, waving a hand, and was about to get up again, but Itachi pulled him backwards onto the bed. What the hell? Itachi, not again. Well, whose fault is it to make me this jealous? Itachi whispered into Naruto's ear, grabbed both his wrists and pinned them over his head. 2. Okay, fine. I will tell you. It was like the first time I kissed Sasuke in front of the whole class, Naruto said, shutting his eyes. You kissed Sasuke? Itachi asked.
No.
It was an accident. I didn't want to kiss him. The first time? You guys kissed a second time. Yes, we were falling from a waterfall. You guys fell from a waterfall. Yes. And you guys kissed when you fell.
No.
Our lips were smashed together when we fell. That's all? Did you kiss anyone else?
No.
Naruto. I didn't, Naruto said, looking at Itachi. I didn't kiss anyone else apart from you two. Itachi sighed and let go of Naruto. Don't kiss anyone else, Itachi muttered. Or else I don't know what I will do.
I'm sorry,
Naruto said. You don't have to be sorry. I'm the one who should be sorry. Why? Naruto asked. I think it's normal for you to get jealous. I'm sorry that I pushed you down, Itachi sighed. Will you forgive me that I pushed you down again? Yes, I do forgive you, Naruto said, hugging Itachi's neck. Chapter 17. Ino was so uncomfortable in this silence. Normally Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura would make all the racket, but since they left, it was silent. It wasn't a calm silence, it was a stressing one, where people weren't daring to say anything, too afraid they would say something wrong. I bet when Sasuke sees me, he will confess his love for me, Ino said, expecting Sakura to say something, but that thing never came. Then we will go back to Konoha and get married. You're too young to get married, and he wouldn't care about you, not even a bit, Sakura said without looking at her. Oh, you're just jealous, Ino said. Ino, how can you say that I'm jealous of you? Sakura asked. What do you mean by that? If you weren't stupid, you would realize that I do not like Sasuke anymore, Sakura said, glancing at Ino. That's impossible. You were all over him when he was still here. It would be hard to let go of someone not even a year after. Well, you know what, Ino, I really though about it. If I really liked Sasuke or not. And I found out that he was a bastard that didn't really care for his teammate except for Naruto but was obsessed with power and always wanted to fight Naruto. From that moment, I knew that I didn't like him and that he will never like me. And that he will never like you either because he doesn't know you. I'm no stranger to him, Ino pouted. Whatever, Sakura said. Ugh. What's gotten into her? Ino asked herself. Sai, where are heading now? Sakura asked. Sai glacéed at the other team and quickly grabbed something out of his bag. We need to go to the Hokuta village, so we need to go to the west in a couple of miles, Sai said. Oh, well then, will we arrive there is 3 days if we run? Jean asked. Yes, but I don't recommend that, Shikamaru said. Why? Sakura asked. We will be noticed. But we're going to be noticed anyways if we walk too. Not only that, but they can gain on us anytime since we cannot feel normal chakra. She pointed out. True, but we shouldn't rush it. Sai said. We shouldn't rush it? We all know Naruto, he would want to do it faster. Ino said.
No.
Did you forget what Tsunade-sama said? Jean asked. Huh. He went back to the side of the person he loves the most. So that mean he would want spend a lot of time with that person. But dash. Look, Ino, I know Naruto. He wouldn't do something like that. He would get excited and stuff like that. But I realized that he was so excited because he was getting out of the village. If you look closely at his expression, I could see that he was happy to get out of the village. Not because he was going on a mission, Sakura said, cutting Ino off. Ino stayed silent and looked down at the ground. With Itachi and Naruto was running towards a stand with beautiful yukatas and was smiling a bit.
Aki-kun.
Look at this. These ones are beautiful, Naruto said to the man that was following him. Yes, I think the red and black one will fit you perfectly, Aki said. Really? I like the blue and black one better. Naruto pointed to a navy blue/white yukata just in front of him. Itachi, who was disguised as Aki, frowned. I thought you said I could choose the yukata, he said. Oh right, I forgot, Naruto said, smiling a bit. Excuse me, sirs. May I help you with anything? A young lady asked. Yes, please. I would like that red yukata over there, Itachi said, pointing to a really short red yukata. Sure thing, mister, the girl said, smiling, and went to get the yukata.
Oki.
Naruto hissed. What? Itachi asked. Why are you getting one that is that short? Naruto asked, blushing a bit. Because it would look good on you. Ugh, but that looks too girlish. Not at all. You will be perfect in it. Naruto's blushed harder by Itachi words and looked away, but soon regretted it. Oh my god.
Oki.
I think your brother's is stalking us, Naruto said, pulling on Itachi's sleeve. Itachi looked at Naruto with a questioning look. Are you sure? Maybe it's just your imagination, Itachi said, looking around them for any sign for his brother. I'm sure of myself. I saw that famous duck butt hair, Naruto whispered in Itachi's ear. Itachi chuckled a bit and shook his head. We will talk about later, Itachi whispered back, looking at the lady walking back towards them with the yukata. Here you go, the lady said, handing the yukata to Itachi. Itachi and Naruto paid and walked to a part of the village that was pretty calm. So what was this thing about you seeing my brother? Itachi asked once they were in a restaurant. Well, when you decided to get that yukata, I turned my and saw your brother looking at me, but then he turned a corner so quickly that I didn't really have time to see if it was really him though, Naruto said, looking at his glass. So you saw my brother, Itachi said. Yes, but I'm not too sure, Naruto said, looking up at Itachi. Please, you got to believe me. I just saw the hair. Hey, I believe you. It's just that I'm kinda bothered that you had to mention him. But it's better than not telling me anything, Itachi said, frowning.
I'm sorry.
It was the first thing I thought. The first thing I though was to tell you that he might be in the village. It's okay. Let's forget about it and continue our little visit, Itachi said, smiling a bit. Sure. Later that day, Naruto and Itachi were exhausted and didn't feel like going back to the base, so they decided to go in a hotel. Well, I'm going to bed, Naruto said, coming out of the bathroom, his hair still wet but in a ponytail. HN, Itachi said, closing the book he was reading. Naruto crawled on to the bed and snuggled under the covers. Not too long after, Itachi had joined him. Good night, Itachi whispered into Naruto's ear. Good night, Naruto said. Itachi wrapped his arms around Naruto and Naruto did the same thing. Itachi. HN. If you. If I ever lose my memories, will you still remember me? Of course. Will you look for me and make me fall in love with you all over again? Yes. And if I ever die, what will you do? I don't know. I might go berserk. Itachi. HN. Promise me, if I ever die, promise me you will not go berserk and continue to live on for me, Naruto said, shaking a bit. I can't promise anything like that. A world without you means nothing, Itachi said, hugging Naruto tighter. But you lived perfectly fine before you knew me. I know that, but after I met you, my world was you. And what if Sasuke kills me for power to kill you or to destroy Konoha? Naruto asked. Why would he kill me? Itachi asked. Because I'm with you. For the first time, Itachi was lost of words. So that's what's been bothering you all afternoon?
No.
What's been bothering me is the though of B not being by your side anymore.
I'm scared, Itachi.
I'm scared of dying. I'm scared of forgetting you. I'm scared of losing you, Naruto said. Itachi stayed silent for a moment, holding a crying Naruto close to his chest. I'm also scared, Itachi whispered. Huh? Naruto asked, rubbing his eyes to look at Itachi. I'm scared of losing you too. If I know that you only lost your memories, I'm fine with that, at least you can make new one. New memories that are better than the one you have right now. A worry-free world. I'm scared of the though of you dead. It makes me sick. Not only that, but I know I would go berserk and won't be able to control my power, Itachi said. Itachi, I love you, Naruto said. You finally said it, Itachi said smiling. You finally said it. I've been craving for those words. Naruto cried even harder and Itachi kept hugging him. Naruto, Itachi said. Naruto looked up and Itachi kissed him. Itachi? Naruto asked, his eyes swollen from crying. Don't cry anymore. Please don't cry anymore. It's going to be all right. Itachi whispered and started to kiss Naruto's cheek. But dash. No buts. Let's not think about that for rest of the week. Please, Naruto. Okay. Itachi once again kissed Naruto and no too long after, they both fell asleep. Next morning, Naruto woke up with a really bad headache. He was about to get up when strong arms hold him in place. Naruto smiled a bit and looked at the sleeping man beside him. It's morning, Itachi. I have a terrible headache. Will you please let me go? Naruto asked. HN, Itachi said without opening his eyes. Itachi, Naruto said, poking Itachi's cheek. HN. Itachi. Please, Itachi. I'm serious about the headache I have. I feel like I'm about to pass out in any moments. You feel you're about to what? Itachi asked, getting up. About to pass out, Naruto said, rubbing his forehead. Maybe you have a fever, Itachi said.
No.
I don't have one, Naruto said, getting up and went to the bathroom. Once in the bathroom, he took out of the small bottles of blood and drank it. A few minutes later, his headache left. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Hey, Naruto, Itachi's soft voice chimed through the door. Yes, Naruto asked, opening the door. Here, Itachi said, handing Naruto the yukata he bought yesterday. What? You want me to wear that to a temple? Naruto asked. Itachi nodded. Fine. Naruto said, taking the yukata.